There we go. There we go. There we go. Here I am. 414 stand up. What it do? What it do? Milwaukee versus everybody. I don't care what you say. Milwaukee versus everybody. 414 against the world. My name is Kevin Barnes. This is the Wednesday night edition of Outlaw Radio. Outlaw Radio. Enough. Enough. We have it's enough is enough, right? And that's always the cry of the people. By the way, if you are searching for a podcast, because this is what this is defined as now, that is about Black people. The conversations are about what we like to define as Black people shit. This is the podcast. We don't really even consider the perspective of those who are outside looking in, because it's not really about them. So, welcome to the show. We do have a phone. I have a phone, I should say, because I'm here by myself at this point. Shout out to the Outlaws. They'll be along as we move. But I have a phone. Phone is 262-202-5131. And if you say, well, how do I call in? It's on the bottom of the screen. Now, we also have a chat room that's also very live all the time. Dion is in there already. See? Shout out to Dion. Mondays, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You don't have to ask me when do the show come on. Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 to, whenever I choose to cut the machine off. But y'all, hey, share the show. Share the show. Share the show. I love the fact that there's so many platforms in Milwaukee right now. Like, we need to be heard. And there's many different perspectives. So, but I'm saying we are who we are. So share the show. Numbers don't lie, right? Hit like, hit follow, go to the YouTube page. If you've been rocking with Outlaw Radio, rock with Outlaw Radio. That's all I'm saying. But welcome, man. There's a lot going on, as usual, to talk about as a person of color. It never runs out, right? The cup runneth over. Chat room popping. Shout out to Jesse Paris. He said, aka Shane Krumah, by the way. He said, peace Outlaws from the Mile High Income and illegal migrant flooded city. Shout out to you and Shabaka for Frontline Black News and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. There we go. Out on the west side, watching us. We appreciate it. Hey man, I want to say, there's a lot going on, right? Like, and it's the holidays, and the murder doesn't stop. The senseless homicide doesn't stop. So I just want to give a big up to the families that's dealing with these kinds of things right now. It's rough, man. Like, I'm because I'm looking at the news and I'm seeing young people, lives being taken, being shot, stabbed, murdered. Just not even getting a chance to figure it out. And so shout out to those families. Y'all hold on and be strong. I said, what's happening in Madison, Wisconsin? I heard y'all had a mass shooting out there. Well, yeah. Is this young lady of Arab descent? I don't know what her racial identity is. And you know that when it's a person involved in this kind of situation that's not Black, they keep things on the hush. Like, you really got to go dig for it. Had this been a young sister from the hood, this shit would have been plastered all over USA Today. We know that. So yeah, mass shooting. She killed herself. At first, the death toll kept changing. So I think now there's 3 people and then like 7 people injured. If I'm wrong, please jump in and correct me. So yeah, that's Madison. But if you understand the layout of Milwaukee in terms of being a person of color, you understand that Madison ain't really ours. Like, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of minorities up there. But Madison Wisconsin is 86% white. You have to understand this. And I think we represent probably 8% of the state, meaning people of color, black people. And I believe somewhere around 88 to 90% of those individuals live in a pocket, in a corner of southeastern Wisconsin in Milwaukee on the lake. Now you got Racine, you got Beloit, you got a bunch of cities that we've spread out to all the way to Chicago. But in terms of who the black population is in where the black population in Wisconsin is, it's in southeastern Wisconsin. So you got to keep that in mind. Shout out to Ruben Anderson, my brother, my brother, my brother, my brother. He said, good evening, family. How you doing, my brother? How you doing? He said, sounds like Colorado. Colorado is a state that's built like Wisconsin, because maybe you have Denver, where there's a black population, because there's in every city, damn near major cities, not small cities, but we were running from the South so fast. when we say, you talk about the Great Migration, it was a great migration. This is a historical turning point that has not been examined, in my eyes, to its effect on this country, because you had hundreds of thousands of black people who systematically removed themselves from the South from maybe 1945 to about 1970. Hundreds of thousands. Right? So Denver, Detroit, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Cleveland, Chicago, LA, New York, Pittsburgh, all these cities got an influx of us coming from the South. Because at that point, y'all know where we were? It's what I call the show tonight. We were at the point where we had enough. Enough of this shit. So we hit it. And so, yeah, we're in Denver, somewhere. There's probably about 25, 30 black people in Utah somewhere. Like, shit, we are the black community up here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, this is Jesse. He said, Denver, Colorado Springs, and Aurora have the largest black population out here in Colorado. Okay. He says, I see that collar. I mean, come on, man. I'm teed up, man. It's important. It's like, call this picture day. You go take pictures in elementary school. Your mama button your shirt up and comb your shit. Like, you better smile on this goddamn picture. He said black people got here during the gold rush and during the Great Migration, Pullman and waiters. That's what I'm saying. That's why we're everywhere. This is another reason why we can state a case for being the only true Americans. Because if anybody embraced the American dream and said, you know what? Fuck this slavery shit. I'm about to head north and work in a factory. Come on, son. That is the American experience. Nobody's more American than black people. You heard it here on Outlaw Radio first. Nobody is more American than American black people. Ask them where they're from. My parents were from Italy. You're Italian. My grandparents came here from France. You're French. My grandparents came from Mississippi. I'm an American. So we're going to go on that. But how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? It's Wednesday night, like I said, Outlaw Radio. Enough. Lord have mercy. 2024 has been a year of it's supposed to have been this year where the truth was exposed and all this real conversation supposedly had taken place. But it's also a year in which a lot of bullshit was said too. A lot of dumb shit. And it makes you say, man, enough of the bullshit. At least that's how I'm feeling on a Wednesday night. Mr. Carter, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm all right, man. I'm all right, too. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the coach, teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama! There go the Seymour's, man! Come on in.
Here we go. Welcome to the show, my brother. It's Outlaw Radio. Enough. You know what I'm saying? And
enough is fucking enough. God
Well,
damn.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Uh, so the thing is, we want to shout out people who deserve recognition. And I want to shout out Kamar because I'm really enjoying the fucking reels. I'm looking at the reels there like, okay, this is on my
Really?
Podverse agenda now. So because we're gonna talk about some of them reels tonight. Real shit.
Let's get at it, man. Let's get
So I wanted to
it.
shout you out, because at first I was kind of like,
Thank you,
oh,
thank you.
yeah, I'd be dog trying to, oh, he over there
Yeah.
doing his let me see what you see about that. But oh, this shit is funny. Hey, this shit, oh no, that was clever. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about that tonight. We're gonna talk about that. And we can start out talking about it because I got a lot of other shit that we're gonna go into, but let's talk about the reels because you talked about relationship requirements, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Expand on that one a little bit because I thought that was one I was like, okay, he owned the one right there. What's the gist
Well,
of
you know
this?
what? I feel like we all looking for the wrong shit, right? In other people. You know what I mean? And then we also all had different relationship requirements. You know what I mean? And relationship requirements is cool. Really, it's like boundaries. You know what I'm saying? What will you stand for? What won't you stand for? What do you need? What you don't need? But the problem is, a lot of us don't know what we need. You know, like I talk to young people all the time, and I tell them, man, take your time. You don't need to be in a relationship. You need to figure out who you is first. Because see, the thing is, when you 21, you don't know who you finna be when you 35. You know what I'm saying? You finna change into somebody. And you don't know what that person gonna need. You don't know what that person may want out of a partner. You know what I'm saying? Or need in a partner. But yeah, man, relationship requirements. I forgot what all I talked about on the video, you know what I mean? But that's pretty much what I be talking about when I be talking to people about relationship requirements. You know, like we be looking for the wrong shit in people. We ain't looking at their morals. You know what I mean? Like women, they meet a man, he got a nice car, he got some money, you know what I'm saying? So they go lay down. They ain't even check to see if he got kids or if he even take care of them kids. Then they wind up with a kid. You know what I'm saying? That he done left them for. It just creates a bigger divide, you know what I mean, with black men and black women. Because we don't know what the hell we looking for a lot of the time. Even grown-up folks nowadays don't even know what the hell we looking for. Most men just want a fat ass and a pretty face or something. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and then the women, they want a nigga with some money. You know what I mean? And then we got the falsehoods in it. You know what I mean? Like the catfish part. You know what I mean? With men and women. You know, you got the makeup. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's my thing, right, about makeup. I feel like a lot of the men who I know who I feel like are good men, when we talk, they tell me how they really don't give a shit about all that makeup. They don't care about it. They really don't even like it. You know what I'm saying? But then the problem is when women bring it to us and then now we in a relationship, but the same men are like, man, I really don't like that makeup shit. You don't even need it. But they don't want to hear it. They're going to put it on anyway. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear from you. They're going to tell you not to tell them how to dress, how to look, and all that shit. You know what I mean? But really, we supposed to tell you what we like and what we don't like. You know what I mean? But the problem is we don't want to listen to that. You know what I mean? But and see, that's a relationship requirement right there. You know what I mean? What some people may have. All men ain't like that, but some are. I mean, I could talk about these different requirements all day or different boundaries that we may put up or different things that we expect out of other people. You know what I mean? And then that'd be a problem too. We get in relationships expecting them to be something, expecting them to be who we want them to be, but then they ain't. And get mad when they don't turn out to be that. You know what I'm saying?
So for a very long time, people have been telling me like, Kev, you need to do a show about relationships, right? Like, and the only reason I haven't done it is because in order for me to engage in that, I would really want a qualified relationship expert here, someone who has really done, time hours, doing therapy for couples and shit like
Right.
that. Like, I wouldn't want to have a side pocket backroom conversation about it because it gets so subjective. It gets so personal on your wants, your needs, what you desire in a relationship. It's one of those things where it's actually a miracle where in which when the right connection is made between two people, it's electric. It's just like a damn, we both feel this, right?
Right.
But a lot of times when it doesn't line up, if there's something in it for an individual, whether it be money, whether it be convenience, whether it be whatever, then you end up, kind of getting together anyways. And I think that's what you're saying in, hey, man, we're out here not being really connected. We're not naturally connecting.
We ain't connecting on the right things.
Not naturally. We're connecting conveniently.
Right. Yeah.
And then we're mad when the relationship doesn't work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when the nigga find out all she got is the fat ass, you know what I'm saying? Now you about tired of it.
Well, there's rules of engagement. I think any man of our age should know at this point when evaluating a potential partner, it most certainly has to be about more than her ass.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't get me wrong. I get it. As a man, you like, God damn, look at that motherfucker. You know, the visual, men we're visual. Like, yo.
Right.
You know what I mean? So but when you get to our age, you know what that's about because hopefully you've been there and done that and learned some.
You've done that. It ain't no
right. Like, it's like, yeah, man, I know that but unfortunately men younger than us probably, through lack of experience or whatever, what have you, they don't make all, when you get old, you slow down with all your decisions. Fuck what you choosing. You be like, let me see how many socks. It's $7 over here. Shit, I can go
straight up.
Back in you young, man, put that shit in the car. Yeah. Wait a minute, I just seen the sale online.
Let me make sure these some good socks.
Shit, man. I learned the thread count on them. Ain't no good. Look at the seam.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's great. That's where we should be at.
Exactly.
Where we should be at. Let me get the chat room. Paris says, facts, Kev. I've been saying that for years. FBAs, DOAs, freedmen are the only true Americans. We just need to understand it. Dion said the motherfucking property taxes. Hey, man, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, Dion. That's all I can tell you. Look here, man. If you want it, you got to earn it until you own it. Want it, earn it, own it. That's the cycle. Costs go down when you own. You know what I mean? So until you, and then like I said, I told you the other night, there's legal, there's financial, there's we talk about filing taxes, there's maneuverability when you do own something. And you can, I'm trying to tell you, I owned property. I had property for about 5-6 years, Kamar. And every year I had a tremendous list when I went to file my write-offs. By the time he got done, like I said, I was getting money back. Getting over like a fat rat. Stop it. Legal hustling.
Right.
Shout out to Westside Zeladon. My brother. He said, shout out to Cat Williams. Cat Williams did kind of like, I don't know, he came from a place. And, I seen one young brother. He was in a couple, Brandon Jackson, I think his name is. He said, you a cocaine head. You're a dope head. Like you sniff some cocaine and made a prediction. You ain't shit. When Cat get back at him, it's gonna be interesting. Let me see what else we got here. He said, "What y'all thoughts on them drones flying around several major cities in the Northeast?" I was gonna get to that because I got a whole point on my sheet called UFOs. He said, "Facts, Kamar, about relationships." He said, I'm looking at that. Dion said, I'm looking at that ass.
Yeah, we know Dion.
Dion, there's a heart. I ain't gonna say it till you come on because I know you're gonna call
me. He ain't got past that part yet. We was talking
I'm gonna say it to his face, Kamar. I ain't gonna say it to his comment. I'm gonna say it to his face. Society don't see grown up till 30. That's what Westside Zeladon is saying. He said, stop manufacturing. What was I talking about? What did he say? Stop manufacturing something. Said it should just happen. We talking about relationships. You will definitely know naturally
Yeah,
You know what? And
I
here's the
agree.
thing. But you got to be Kamar. You have to be in tune enough with yourself to make,
That's right.
because like you said, see, here's the thing. I met my wife when I was 22. Okay. I was a wild boy. And what I liked then is so far away from where I'm at right now. I didn't know.
Right.
But what I went off of was how I felt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew this is different. This is different
And
energy.
hey, look, and then another thing is this too. Like, you know a good woman when you see a good woman, when you see the way she move, when you hear the way she talk. You know what I mean? You know that's a good woman to even put some interest into.
If you smart enough, Kamar.
Right. Exactly.
Because we watch brothers make the wrong decision every day.
Yep. Yep.
I rolled I rolled the dice just because I knew what I saw. I'm gonna tell you what I saw. What I saw was stability.
Yep.
At that very moment, even though this is probably the craziest time in my life, I said, you know what? With her, I could be stable.
Yep.
Fuck everything else. I could be stable. I'll be straight. And you know, it just
Voila.
I've been smart. I've been
Right.
I make one good decision and then I wrap like
Hey, you
200
know, we're
bad
looking
ones.
for relationships.
Hey, I make one good decision, then I wrap like 200 bad ones around it.
You know, the thing about looking for relationships, when you find yourself looking for one, you wind up settling for one. You wind up settling for a bunch of shit that you wouldn't normally accept because you're looking for it to happen. You want it to happen so fucking bad. You know what I mean? Like, them be the moments when you'll even lie to yourself just to make it work.
I think, you know what, Kamar, that's a unique perspective, because I think at the time, really, the gist of this is that's not what I was looking for.
Right.
That wasn't even on the agenda, Kamar. It was not even.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. You ain't even looking.
That's not what I was doing.
My mother told me that, man. You know what I mean? Don't ever go looking for a relationship. She said when you go looking for a relationship, you're going to find the one you don't want.
I don't, call me off guard, brother.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, man. You know,
had me tripping. Even my mama said, "What?" My mama said, "What? You got a girlfriend?" I was like, "Yeah, I was like 20-something years old."
Right.
Not because I was gay or I didn't have female interaction before that, but it just was never any opportunity for you to be more than
building, making a family wasn't in the cards at that age.
Well, no, any female I was dealing with was.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Making a family wasn't in the cards. It wasn't.
No relationship. No,
none of that. It wasn't even in the cards. I wasn't even thinking about it.
I used to get that good disclaimer, like, "Let me tell you something before." That's how you keep your car from getting keyed. That's how you keep your windows from being broken, by saying, "Hey, check this out." Real talk.
Right.
This ain't that. Right. So yeah, man. Young nigga, man. Young nigga. Dion says, still, I like ass. Well, see, that's just the thing. That energy, cool. That's probably gonna be a part of it. Where you be like, "Woo, wee."
Because look, dig this. I'm gonna tell you the way energy work. You know what I mean? You like ass. You're gonna find a girl with a big ass that like a nigga with some money.
Or,
you know what I mean? I'm just saying they attract each other. Pimps attract hoes, right? Like they gonna attract each other. They looking for the wrong shit in relationships, so they gonna wind up together.
Well, let me say this though, because I don't know. A nice ass can definitely be part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, because the physical thing is the honey. It draws you in.
Right.
I'm not gonna say, man, just go get an ugly. Like, I'm saying somebody's not attractive to you. I'm saying that's part of when you say, man, and that's on deck, and that's on deck, and I'm going. I'm going. Right? You got brother say I ain't going. Now you say I'm going. You break it down to, hey man, shit, check this out. I don't know what you look
and then when you young, you know what I mean? Shit. And you out here, shit, it's like ass everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it could be anybody.
Yeah, and that's why Kamar. You have to go through the motions. As a man, listen, you got to go through the motions. Meaning you got to get out here and meet someone. You got to deal with some women. You got to get out here and get
by dealing, I feel like with me, right? Like over the years, like dealing with women, I learned what I like in women. I learned what I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? I learned what I absolutely wouldn't stand for. You know what I'm saying? And then you learn what to look for in the next. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, you know what I mean? You in the right spot.
Yeah, man. You got to live and learn. And once again, I want to say, the whole thing about this conversation is that it's relevant in a real way, because it's not about, okay, she got a big old ass, or she's the freakiest freak I ever met, or wow. Like, I feel like you got to be best overall to be wifey. Like, you can't be the best head giver and then won't clean up and won't work. Right. that don't work for me, right?
Right.
You gotta be even Stevens, like consistency and balance. And so,
like, I always say, like, you need to know where they head at, right? Literally, like where they mental at. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, I told you I was talking a while back, and I was saying we got 4 different parts in our brain: the reticular cortex, the limbic brain, the neocortex, and the frontal lobe, right? Well, a lot of people operate out of the reticular cortex, which is more like a reptilian brain. It's made up of a reptilian type of, you know what I mean, shit, where it deals with lust, anger, you know what I'm saying? It wants what it wants when it wants it, you know what I mean? That's you. Like, that's the first brain you ever started using when you was a baby. That's the brain you used. I want what I want. I'm hungry. I need it. Give it to me. You know what I'm saying? And then you move out of that into the limbic brain, the animalistic type brain, where you start dealing with fight or flight. And you know what I'm saying? And you start getting a bit smarter. And a lot of people, like I said, they be stuck in that reptilian brain, that lustful brain. A lot of men don't come out of it until we hit the age of around 30. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, women get in that brain too, that lustful, that I want what I want when I want it. And you know what I mean? That survival mode brain, that's it.
Sometimes the reptilian brain serves you well, though.
Definitely.
Depending on what the circumstances are. Right, because in a pool of sharks, you got to be a shark.
You got to be a shark. You damn right. So, I ain't saying, you know what I mean, totally get rid of it, but you got to understand it so you can control it. And
absolutely.
Usually when you start moving through them brains, the next one up controls that one. So the animalistic brain gonna keep that one tamed. You know what I mean? And the neocortex is when you start really thinking like a man, like a human. You know what I'm saying?
The ability to understand what each phase was is important too.
Exactly.
Because you have to be able to look back and say, yo, at one point, this is how I was living.
Yeah.
You know, what's the transition from there? Maybe it got worse. Maybe you were living very well and it got worse and you haven't bounced back. So you got to say, okay, look at those phases I was in. I was reptilian right there. Right? Yeah. I was on my gorilla shit right there. And I probably did some things during that time that have repercussions that I'm just now facing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get too high for y'all. No pun intended. Let me get the chat room, Kamar. Dion says it has to be some physical attraction. Absolutely, I addressed that. Definitely. And there's nothing. Listen, if you attracted to your mate, there's nothing wrong. That's not what we're saying.
You're supposed to be.
Yeah, shit. It should be like
but you also supposed to take your time to figure out who that person is.
I'm just saying it has to be more than that.
Exactly. That's what I know. I'm speaking to Dion. I'm saying so you got to take more time to find out who that person is. You know what I'm saying? Before you start making babies and creating a family and shit.
Yeah, it's like a sequence, Kamar. You start when you say there's the courtship, right? And then there's the involvement and engagement. and you know, the honeymoon phase. Once everything, all the formalities is out, now baby, it's us,
right?
Bobby and Whitney type shit, right? And so there's a process. You don't jump in Bobby and Whitney,
right?
You come in like, man, I'm feeling, I'm feeling. Let me check this out. But it takes so much to be able to do that, man. You almost have to have a gift of discernment, Kamar, to a certain degree. You have to
Yeah,
be able to know
yeah,
what you're looking at, right?
yeah, yeah. Know what
And
you want.
the good and the bad, the pros and the cons. You feel
Right,
me?
right,
Like, can I deal with this? Is this a deal breaker? Right.
right.
So let me get the chat room. Let me get the chat room. Jesse said facts about avoiding getting your car keyed and windows busted out. Once again, man, back then, because I knew that the the probability of drama was high, especially when me and June lived together. Like those days, I was always up front, like, yo, I don't. So if you see me out in the mall, or if you see me rolling, they'll be like, oh, he had a girl in the car, a woman in the car. I probably did. Because at a certain point, I was like, I'm going to start hanging around women more than I hang with dudes. Right? So I was always secure. Like, what you finna do, man? Go pick up this girl I just met? Man, can't you stay out here? I like women more than I like men. I like to hang out with them more. So I always told women that. And, I didn't get keyed. I didn't get my windows busted. I didn't have public, motherfucker, what you doing here? It was just there. Like, nah, what? Nah, they could have still clowned me. But I would still been like, what you talking about? I told you this. That would have been me. I'd have been like the mayor. I'd be like, you bullshit. Let me see what else we got. He said, facts, Kamar, you reminded me of high school and college. Orlando Owens, what up? What up, Orlando? Don't Dion gonna find out you on here, you're gonna be salty. He said, I'm 47. Whoever I fuck with better not be able to get pregnant. Hey man, if that's one of your deal breakers,
Well,
I
see,
tell you
that's
what.
the thing. Hey, look, and then even with that, right, nigga, you need to take time to find out if she could get pregnant before you start fucking on her, right?
And Marlboro Manning, that's partially on you too. You know what I'm saying? Why you sharing your DNA like that?
Yeah,
If that's your mission, you can control that. It don't matter if she can. She
right,
won't get one from me.
right.
Go get clipped. Go get clipped. What you talking? It's all her fault.
Right.
You kind of wanted that baby. You kind of wanted that baby. That's a love child. That's a love child.
Man.
Yeah. Hey, boo. Jesse Paris said, "Great relationship advice." I don't want it to be that. I don't want this to be considered relationship advice, and I'm going to tell you why. Is because I didn't approach this from a traditional, me growing up and me maturing into a man. I didn't take the traditional path, Kamar,
Right.
because I was just emotionless for a very long time, and I didn't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I say God will shake you, because what did I have first? A daughter. Bang. What? Oh no. And so from that point on, that's why I was like, from that point on, I was like, you know what? You can't think like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Too Short didn't sound the same after that to me. Still enjoyed it, but I was like, this is entertainment. This is not real life. So I hope that, I think a lot of times we just need to be able to point out the transitions, because we go through shit, and then, can you, when you transition, can you look back and say, damn, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was just at, and where my mind was I was tripping. So it's life, man. That's why you get to the point where you say enough.
Right. But you know what I mean? But shit, Kev, like, we talk about relationship advice, like we talk to our youth about it. We give our youth advice. Like, why ain't we qualified? You know what I mean? Like, if your son come talk to you, you're gonna give him some advice to your best knowledge, right?
But that's my son.
Even though you ain't no specialist.
But that's my son.
Right. So, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So, like, I think that's something we could talk about, you know what I mean? Because really it's like shedding a light on how we think about it. You know what I mean? Like, our perspective may be different from somebody that may help them. You know what I'm saying?
What I don't want is somebody to try to do what I'm telling them to do, and it don't work, and they come back and be like, "Oh, okay,
right.
This shit ain't working. Don't buy the book.
It didn't work for me."
Right. Well, because there's a whole life experience build up to when I actually met the woman that I fell in love with. I'm telling you, I was 27 years old, and there was minor attempts at, hey, I have a girlfriend, but it was just never there.
I mean,
Because
like simple stuff. What we doing? Like telling people what you know what I mean, what to look for, that type shit. You know
okay,
what I mean? The dangers of
there we go.
relationships.
So I tell you what to look for, but I won't tell you what to do about it.
I ain't gonna tell you how to do it.
Oh shit. That's what I tell Travis Hunter right now. Like, look, man, I know you love her, but you gotta look at this, man. The young brother, the craziest thing about Travis Hunter is he seems to be a very good young dude, right?
Yeah.
Like they talk about he don't drink, he don't smoke, he
He don't
don't
go out.
party.
None of that
He
shit.
gives his NIL money to his teammates. You see this dude, he always got a smile on his face. You know what I'm saying? And he comes from a poor background. But sometimes you can be nice to a flaw. And that's the hardest lesson. It's the most heartbreaking lesson to learn. And then to look back and say the signs were there. I just wasn't listening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we all looking at this young brother and we
You know, he got people around him telling him too. You know what I'm saying?
Hope, man. I hope.
What Deion Sanders said he done talked to him about it. I was watching something or reading something, and Deion had said he had told him about old girl to watch out for. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? But he was saying like ain't nothing he could really say to him because he said the boy don't drink, he don't smoke, he don't go out and party, he don't do nothing. So shit, I can't really tell him too much.
He bucks the stereotype of I'm out here pimping, I got 50 hoes, and that's not him. That's not who. And it's just we looking at it like it's a shame that he's gonna have to learn a hard lesson.
Yeah, about
being gullible and being nice to a flaw. Like when you're in his position, there has to be boundaries, and there has to be. But it's important for him to be happy, and obviously she makes him happy. She's saying he doesn't drink, I drink. He take me to parties and sit in the car for hours while I'm in the party drinking and then take me home. I'm like, young brother. You don't know what she did in that party. She said he don't drink, but I'm Mexican, so tequila's in my veins. Man. When everybody got on him, he said she's sad now, y'all. She ain't been drunk and she crying the whole day. Now she drunk and sleep. Young brother. That's what I'm saying. You ain't got a pimp bone in your body. And so, but I'm hoping for the best because Deion, if anybody,
you know what though, really, like we on his case, right? We should be on her case for being lousy.
They are. People are. They are. Trust me.
You know what I mean? Because like really, he's a good dude. He doing what he supposed to do. You know what I mean? And it's her that's running the game on him. It just sucks that he can't see what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. You know what they done put on this young brother, man? They done put on this young brother that the reason why you are allowing this is because you're ugly. I'm not trying to be funny. This is social media is very cruel, man. And they are saying to him, look at you. You're not attractive. And so you don't get women like this. Because if you look at her, she looks like the Instagram.
Hey, maybe he feel like that. And that's,
maybe so.
And then that goes back to also, we was talking about looking for a relationship, trying to be in a relationship. You start accepting shit that you really won't deal with, really wouldn't deal with. You know what I mean? Like that may be a perfect example of it.
I don't know how he feels about himself. I know he can feel very good about his accolades as a football player. He's obviously been exceptional since he was young. But we all have some.
Yeah, I'm talking about like insecurities, like he was just saying. Like
that's what I'm talking about. You know we all have insecurity. So I don't know if he's leaned on that to kind of be able to put, okay, I'm ugly. Well, I ain't ugly because I'm a Heisman Trophy winner and I'm
coming
first
from
round.
a poor-ass town. Well, you know what I mean? I'm just saying we can't understand why he would be tripping. You know what I'm saying? But coming from a poor-ass town, you know what I'm saying? And now here he is popping and this girl on his lap. And, man.
Well, it's like what we brought up Too Short, and like Too Short used to, like, I don't know if people remember Too Short. He have no teeth in his mouth,
Nope.
right? Like, and he used to make songs about, yeah, bitch said I'm ugly, right?
Right.
But once he got money, he got his teeth fixed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so money changes things. I'm just saying, and I don't know the young brother.
Ugly too.
I want him to get to a point where he can be solidified in that I'm only going to go so far with people, no matter what they say, no matter how much they say they love me, because there's so much money on the line. And she has a $sign tattooed on her finger. She's saying, I left him in my DMs when he met me, when he tried to get at me for 3 months because he was not my type. Right? And then she says, well, I left him in there because he had a girl. That ain't got nothing to do with he's not my type. You found out who he was. You went to a party and they said, girl, that's your man. Yeah. Do you know who he is? No, who is he? This motherfucker's finna be a first top 5 draft pick in the NFL. 100 millions, endorsements. She said, shit, hey, boo. And he said, oh, she likes me. I finally wore her down. No, she found out. She found out, bro. So,
you found out you were bad.
Right. So, I mean, and and I'm saying that from a third party perspective because I don't know either one of these young people personally, but I can call a spade a spade. I can see it from a long I can see it. Look, what they doing out there. I can see it. I've lived long enough to see it. And so he got to take this into account. I don't know what his support system is because his dad has had some issues and they played this whole thing out. His mother got up there and said he was a mistake baby type shit. Like, so this dude has some issues there, man. He could easily be triggered. We'll get to that. Dion, you on the line, man. What's popping, man?
The champ is here, boy. Shit, here y'all talking that bullshit on the real nigga though. On the real, you understand what I'm saying? Like with me, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, man. I'm 47. I've been in relationships since I was 15. I ain't gonna say I don't know how to be alone. I want to be alone. I do. I just want to. It's too late now, though, because things ain't working like they used to. But I thought when I was getting single, I was gonna be out here slanging dick, like just slanging it. I'm talking like a frisbee, goddamn it. But it is what it is. But I'm gonna keep it real, man. One day, me and my daughter mama was talking, right? And me and my daughter mama was together. We would have been together 34 motherfucking years. Our daughter is 30. I couldn't imagine that's the only pussy I ever had for 34 years of my life. That's unfair. Now, this is my opinion. Let me state that because I know a lot of people will be like, well, or refute it. But I feel like that's an injustice for both of us because we only know each other and we don't know what we like outside of each other. I might like a bitch to take it in every hole in her body. But if I only been with one that only like missionary, I only know missionary. Like I hear my guys maybe talking about how they getting it sucked and, hoes swallowing it. And, I'm like, damn, my girl ain't doing all that. So I think, like it's a certain age that a person should be before they really decide to settle down. Like you getting married in 18 and shit like that, and that's the only person you've been with. I mean, my opinion, I feel like you cheating yourself. You feel what I'm saying? I do. I feel like you cheating yourself, But I mean, if that's what people do, more power to them. I won't knock them. Go ahead.
We basically just wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said because if you listen to what I said, sorry, what I said was you need to be able to go out here and deal with women. You need to live a little bit. You need to get out here and, like Kamar even said, figure out what you like. Figure out what you don't like.
Sir.
Figure out, okay, because if you want the 2-hole, 3-hole girl, right? You think about the quality of the relationship outside of the 2-3 holes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That might have been what was popping, but the house nasty. Motherfucker won't work.
Hell yeah.
Motherfucker out here running wild in the streets. You getting in beefs because she fucking with any and every motherfucker. Because everybody love the 3 hoes. Okay, so once again, you learn to vet the candidates. It ain't about see. That's why I say I wouldn't advise an 18-year-old to get married. I wouldn't advise, when you young, especially if you haven't lived. But if you didn't, been out here and got seasoned, then I say I can trust your decision because you actually know what you like. But it takes trying it to figure out whether or not you like it. No Diddy on some heterosexual shit. And I don't know. Oh, I experimented with men.
Yes, sir.
We ain't going
there.
I'm
gonna tell you another thing because I got a few miles that I'll be able to talk to you, or I gotta let you go there and call you back. But another thing is too that when we were growing up, when you and I and Kamar, the quality of woman was different, and that's my opinion. Because these little hoes nowadays, they had dick in their mouth and ate coochie and everything else. So the women that we were messing with were a different quality. Like I had about 6 virgins in my life. At least that's what they told me. I didn't take them and go see if their hymen was broken and all that. But, I'm fucking at 13, 14. I know my daughter mama got pregnant at 14. Because our daughter, my daughter is 16 years younger than me. She'll be 31 in January. January 11th, the same day Mary J's birthday is. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love Mary too, though. But yeah, though, you know what I'm saying? So the quality of women now is different. Like you might get a girl and she's 14 and she had a threesome, then a dyke, a stud,
hey, Dion.
a film. What?
Hey, Dion. They was doing all that then. This is what I found out as
hold
on. Listen.
All right, go ahead.
This is what I found out when I became a grown man. A grown man, I should say. Sorry. Women have been doing that. I don't know how many women I met even then who would relay an experience of, oh, I messed with another woman, or oh, I let this happen to me. And this is years ago. I found out then, like, oh, y'all really, people always been freaky and nasty. And whether you's hiding it or not, I think now people admit it more because there's more cameras. It's more social media now. Back then, listen, come on, let's talk turkey. We know back in the days there was a certain female on the block who did whatever and whoever with whoever on the block, right? We all knew one or two or three or four. Like sometimes it was a whole clique of them, right? They was doing the same thing then that these young girls are doing now, but there was no Instagram. There was no Facebook, but we all knew in the hood. Hold on, we all knew in the hood. The Wire said, "Hey man, it was going on." So I'm saying we can't just automatically disqualify a young lady.
You're right. I agree with you.
A young lady. Hold on. There's a lot of young ladies right now who are out here who are virtuous. See, we give so much attention to the negative parts of things. Like if you listen to people, they say all black kids are bad. All black young people are fucked up. That's not the case. There are some that got their head on straight and they doing what they need to do, but they don't get the light that the negative ones do. They don't get. I ain't out here robbing and kill boy and that. So people like, man, I ain't know you went to Alabama State and got a master's degree in biology. We don't give dude no credit. We get a nigga credit who ran through a light and got up to 115 miles per hour on a car. That's a little bobo.
And then throw him a party when he get out of jail.
And wear t-shirts for him. Don't nobody say, they say free little Bobo. They don't say shout out to someone's Thomas who about to graduate. Nobody makes a shirt that shout out to my cousin. He just got his bachelor's degree. It's free little Ray Ray. Ray Ray done shot 5 people. Don't let that little motherfucker out. Lock his ass up. So I'm just saying, in terms of women, we think now, oh, women have changed. Well, in some aspects, but so have black men. Because women can equally look at us and say men wasn't as feminine back then as they are now. Y'all gay. I see women say it all the time. Y'all so gay now. They say these men out here are soft. Come on, have you ever seen women on the internet like these niggas bitches? That's what they say. Like these niggas, right? And so females from back in the day say, "Hey man, niggas was harder then." Because back then you could say what the fuck you want. Wasn't no Instagram. Wasn't.
I be wanting to ask him why you keep letting them bitch ass niggas around you.
It's not new. It's been bitch ass niggas.
No, I'm just saying. But I be wanting to ask them, why do you keep letting them around you for them to be on your nerves like this?
What are you doing that's the kind of man you attract? You doing it wrong.
Yeah, I'm telling you, everybody attract people. You know what I mean? If you're looking for ass, you're gonna find a girl that want the money.
Land of big booties.
It's just how this shit work.
got to pay to play.
You're gonna find a hoe. You're a pastor. You're gonna find a woman that's that would be a pastor's wife. You know what I mean? It's just what the attraction. That's how the law of attraction works.
Yeah, man, and you don't always make the right decision. That's why you got to give yourself enough space to correct it. If you're in too deep, you can't correct it. That's why you go in a little bit at a time. You don't jump in. You walk in. You know what I'm saying? Paris is in the chat room. He says, we all knew, even though 10, 11 years younger than y'all. He said, we all knew. He's talking about what I was saying with the little girls. I mean, you know, when we in the hood, man, I'm trying to tell you, like back in the days, like listen. I grew up in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. What nobody innocent.
And the 2000s.
Well, I was grown. 2000s came, I was grown. I'm saying when I grew up, so it wasn't an innocent time. And the 90s was buck wild, freaky, nasty, upside down. I'm trying to tell you, I was there. And so,
how old was you when you broke your virginity, kid? Do you remember?
That's not a topic we're gonna bring up on. I ain't gonna talk about no shit
damn,
like that.
Damn. I was 13. I ain't gonna lie.
I would never tell you. That's not nobody's business.
God damn. Well, yeah, you probably was a late bloomer then.
I don't even think. Hold on, wait a minute. You can't get away with that bullshit either. You ain't gonna slide that comment in there and then walk the fuck off. Get the fuck out of here, man. The thing with me is,
yeah, don't make me laugh.
The thing is, my wife ain't never even asked me that. She
Damn.
do, I don't remember. So,
damn.
But listen, it didn't take a long time. I'm just gonna put it out there for you like that. I've been knowing since I've been. I told you I jumped off the porch early, so let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell no numbers. I ain't giving up. They gotta pay me for that.
I remember when before I actually put it in. You know, we had older homies in the hood, and that's when I first started knowing about dope dating. I've been dope dating from Chicago. We had a bitch named Baba in the hood on my mama. Baba put
oh my God. You know what? I understand why you speak the way you speak, because your process has been different than mine. But hold on, I gotta get to this because we got people in here. Y'all share the show, because I want to talk about we give up everything, and we live here. And I've noticed a lot of people who live here hate on here. Even when there's something good said about here, people here are the first ones to hate on it. We can't have shit in Milwaukee if we black. We can't be happy about nothing. Don't celebrate the motherfucking holidays. Don't go here. Don't shop there. Don't talk to this person. I'm looking at the Bucks last night. The Milwaukee Bucks win this NBA Cup, and I believe each player on the team received $200,000-$300,000. Was it $500,000? Okay, $500,000.
$514.
The Bucks started off 2-8. Okay, and there was this explosion of conversation online about why the fuck should we support the Milwaukee Bucks? They're not doing shit for the community. They're getting all this money, and what they gonna do for the community? Rick Muhammad, I seen him on this, so I said, man, you know, sometimes we start to talk without, you know, doing the numbers or the knowledge, and not saying that they were wrong. I'm saying I want to talk about the facts of the Milwaukee Bucks. Listen, I'm born and raised in Milwaukee. I've been a Milwaukee Buck fan forever. Sidney Moncrief, Terry Cummings, Jack Sigma, Paul Pressey, Craig Hodges, Moses Malone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. I've been big dog. This is our hometown. But I did say, what do the Milwaukee Bucks do for the city in terms of philanthropy? And you got to understand philanthropic pursuits, in which we are a $1 billion organization, and we are in a community that we depend on to come to the games, to patronize us. What do we give back? So I want to talk about what they do. The Milwaukee Bucks have an organization. What's the name of the program? So there's a program that they have. We'll talk about it because I looked them up and I got them on the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation. The Milwaukee Bucks Foundation. This is what they do. So they have programs in the community, and they say we We are committed. Our mission statement, I want to read their statement. It says the Milwaukee Bucks mission is to advance Wisconsin community through socially responsible programs, initiatives, and collaborations with community partners, focusing on youth education, youth health and wellness, community betterment, and mentoring. The Bucks are committed to owning the future and being a key leader in positive changes around Wisconsin. Some of their programs: Milwaukee Books. The Milwaukee Bucks work with our next generation, a Milwaukee nonprofit, to create the Milwaukee Books Reading Program. It aims to build the reading abilities of middle school and elementary children. The Bucks encourage students to read throughout the season and celebrate achievement of students who go the extra mile. There's the Bucks Tutor Program. The Milwaukee Bucks support our next generation's outbound learning program. This program provides academic tutoring and enrichment programming to one of the most underserved communities in Milwaukee. The program has resulted in an increased number of high school students graduating better grades and self-esteem, and students having positive attitudes towards their future. The Bucks host students in their office every Tuesday to be mentored by employee volunteers, and it allows employees to learn more about ONG as well as students to gain insight on future career paths and tutoring. There's youth basketball. The Milwaukee Bucks collaborate with the Freighted and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network to provide access to basketball to children across the state. They host various basketball camps throughout the year, and they teach children every age and skill level basketball fundamentals. There's Block Out Hunger. The Milwaukee Bucks and Wisconsin-based Cousin Subs have collected 14,437 pounds of food and raised a total of $76,000 for emergency food supplies for pantries across the state. For the month of March, this is 2023, the Bucks and Cousins will donate a meal to youth at the Boys and Girls Club locations throughout the state when you sign up for the Cousins Club loyalty program. There's a community caravan. The Milwaukee Bucks partner with the Freighted and Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network to increase access to health care. Milwaukee residents who need it the most. This program began in 2019 and transports nurses to community locations to provide residents with health screenings, PPE kits, education, and other resources. And there's the Gruber Season of Giving. Milwaukee Bucks player, alumni, and staff participate in giving back to the community and spreading joy to the families throughout the state during the holidays. Their Season of Giving is presented by Gruber Law Offices, includes Thanksgiving food donations, community shopping events, hospital events, and employee gifts dives. Then there's the Bucks Volunteers. The Bucks Volunteer is an engagement initiative that encourages Bucks front office employees to incorporate community service into their regular work. Throughout every season, each full-time Bucks employee receives 16 hours compensation service time to support a community with a mission of their interest. Okay, I said all that, Kamar, but I want to get the numbers to this. Pull up the rest of my little research. I looked at the numbers, right? And so we talk about, okay, what does all this mean? Because the Bucks are, once again, $1 billion organization. We just looked at them last night. Dame said he was going to give his $500,000 to the support staff and whatnot. Dame and Giannis make $48 and $49 million a year. Millions. Okay. So their total investment for their philanthropic efforts for 2023 came to a little bit over $600,000. So I say, is that enough? Should we be going at the organization as opposed to the players? What do you think about this whole thing, Kamar?
I think we should go at. I think it should be directed towards the organization. You know what I mean? Because the players, they work their whole life to get to that point and do what they do. If they do anything on their own, that's good. You know what I'm saying? $600,000, shit, that's a lot of motherfucking money to give to an organization. No, never mind how much you got. Because see, that be where the problem come a lot of the time. We start looking at how much money we think somebody got. Like, you know what I mean? Back in the day when we was hustling, you know what I mean? The guy want to know how much you making, so he know how much to charge you and shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you can't worry about how much a motherfucker making. You know what I mean? Let's just be happy for what they do. I mean, if it ain't enough, karma will get them.
Once again, I just feel like
but we should be at the organization. They make the most.
Everything that I think it was a good thing because I'm a sports guy. I wish I could bring back the Big Black Sports Show. I just have not been able to find a co-host for it. I love sports, and I think what the Bucks did, especially starting off 2-8, when everybody's calling for your head,
right.
What you're paid all those millions of dollars to do is go out and win, right? So they've been winning, and for them to come and win this NBA Cup after starting out 2-8, that's dope. I see people mad this morning. I see black people, and now they're calling. I seen more attention to that than I heard about the city budget or the county budget that was released. Right. And I said, man, sometimes we just got to go do the math. You can't call them out and say they ain't doing shit because, like you said, Kamar, $600,000. And look, they don't have any employees. I went through their whole fiscal thing. This is all money they're donating to organizations. I wasn't aware of any of those programs that I just read off, but I'm pretty sure if I was to go Google them, I could find them.
I think it'd be better to go at the team because the team is the organization that's in the city. You know what I mean? That's here. We go spend our money at that stadium. This is who we directly spend our money with. You know what I'm saying?
But it also employs us.
Yeah.
It also employs us. The taxes.
Hey, look, them people getting paid for their work too.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're hiring y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it should be a circle. You know what I mean? If you organize the Brewers, they should be putting money in the community.
Especially
the Admirals should be putting money into the community.
Admirals semi-pro though. I don't know how much money they got. Come on.
Well, they something. Hey, look. If people in the city supporting them,
right,
they should be something.
Yeah.
And who knows? They may be. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I just think I'm not. My brothers and sisters, I hear their outcry, but I'm saying like, I think there's other people we should be going after.
Wrong shit.
There's other people we should be going after. You know what I mean? Like go after the organization and say, hey, well, if you're doing all this, let's make it more visible. And then it depends on what you're looking for. Like, am I looking for all those programs that I read off? The common denominator was that I don't require any of their services that they provide at this point. So that I wouldn't have been aware of them.
Right. Never.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're an underprivileged person who's looking for resources, sometimes if you do your deep dive, you'll say, oh, I didn't know all this shit was out here. Oh, boy, you going to camp. You finna go to the Milwaukee Bucks camp. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I like to be fair about information. And I put the post in the People's News Network with Rick Muhammad. He was saying about, billions of dollars made and no lack of donation to. But that's why I looked up their philanthropic efforts because I think there is some money that they're putting out here. Let me go to the chat room. I want to keep up with that. Jesse said, damn, those two players alone make $100 million a year per contract. And more than that, they have endorsements here in Milwaukee. They come on. It's ridiculous. The NBA is a cash motherfucking cow.
I don't think they're getting $100 million a year.
No, he said them two together because they both make $49-50 million a year.
You think so?
They both do. Dame.
How long is Giannis' contract?
Giannis signed a max contract last year, so I think he has 3 to 4 years left on the deal.
Okay.
Dame was already signed, which is the reason why he didn't have power over where he went. He was already under contract. He already had signed a max contract maybe 2 years right before he left Portland. So he legitimately has 3 years.
So really they is because they ain't got that much time left.
Well, yeah, they got 3-4 years apiece.
And usually them contracts be loaded on the back end too.
But the NBA is guaranteed money. See, in NFL, they're front loaded because they give you guaranteed money, but then you probably get cut when you do a bonus. The NBA is guaranteed. They got to pay you what you sign for. No matter what, you get cut, you still get paid.
You'll get paid.
You get hurt, you still get paid.
You'll get paid.
Guaranteed, yeah. So that's money. Tycee Gossi, she said, "Hey y'all, how you doing, Tycee? How you doing?"
Hey, she out there in Hawaii.
I seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah, she on the island, right?
must be nice, huh?
Man, breezy.
Shit.
Breezy.
How that dog doing, Kamar?
Man, hey, he wild, man. He a wild boy. He fun as shit, man. It's never a dull moment, I promise you.
You better tame him down.
Oh no, he good though, man. You know what I'm saying? He good. Like he go in the kennel when I tell him to. He use the bathroom outside. Every so often he have an accident every once in a while. But shit, he good, man. He sit there when I tell him to sit down somewhere. He lay down, all that good shit.
I'm getting me one. I'm jealous. I ain't got mine yet. I'm gonna give me one though. I don't even want to talk to y'all. I'm mad at both of y'all.
Man, I feel like it's a lot more fun having a dog now than when I was younger, when I used to have a bunch of dogs.
What if I pop up with this monkey on y'all ass up?
Oh no, you gonna pop up with a monkey on your ass,
right?
Boy, you stupid as shit.
No diddy.
I'll get you a motherfucking monkey if you want to, nigga.
It ain't that big of a monkey. It's a little monkey, like the kind you put in your hand.
You done came out here and said your shit don't work like you used to, and you was dope dating since you was 14. Now you finna get a little bitty monkey and then go try to slide one in on me. Talking about, I guess you was a late bloomer.
Yeah, you stupid. Yeah, you stupid, boy. You know I gotta talk a little bit.
You was a late bloomer. What the fuck?
I can't. You know what, Monday, man, I meant to ask you about this. We didn't discuss it. How do you feel about that situation? I don't know the full details of it, but I heard about it. About some firemen.
One firefighter.
And his guy.
One firefighter.
Yeah. He whooped somebody for breaking in.
Give me a second, because that's on my talking points. I want to get the chat room, and then we're going to go right into that.
All right.
You said, Shay said, same with my Broncos. Motherfuckers was hell doubtful. Now we got the opportunity to knock off two rival division teams for the AFC West. We on the 3-4 game winning streak. Got a playoff berth. Yeah, it's sports have a lot to do with the moral is up when we win it. I fucking feel sad when you're always losing and shit. Ben said, Kev, you sound like you said about your property at tax time. It's a write-off for the players and the organization too. Yeah, because Zelenon said the players do. They donate individually.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a very large tax liability. So yeah, they volunteer. They writes all that shit off. That's what I'm saying. That shit goes right. They got an accountant, if they smart, standing right there. Like, how much did you do for the United Way? Yeah, I gave them motherfuckers $500,000, give them $50,000 here, $10,000 there. That shit help their taxes, man. So you're right, Roger. Now we didn't talk about this Monday with the firefighter and his brother, who were apparently in their home, and an individual broke in and they got on his ass, to put it lightly. They beat the stuffing out his Egg McMuffin. I mean, and then I guess at one point he must have gotten away, or he tried to run, but they caught him outside. They beat him with bats. This is two brothers. Only one's a firefighter. They stomped on his head. They left this boy with a pumpkin head. I know you said Martin wasn't funny, but if you ever seen the episode of Martin where he fought Thomas Hearns and he had the pumpkin head, that is literally what this brother's head looked like. And so they've been charged. He's also been charged, and he also has prior cases for burglary. So the question that we put out here tonight is, did he get what he deserved, or was that enough? I'm glad we.
How would you have handled the situation? But you got guns, though. Right. How you would have handled it out?
My ass whooping days like that, delivering them out like that, is over. Like, I really ain't got the capacity. I used to be able, but for me, my thing is I know the law. So if I don't tap you in my house, I'm not going to chase you outside and shoot you down on the street, right? Like, I'm not, because I understand now to put myself in harm's way. But if I can get off on you when you in the crib, then yeah, I don't know if you're going to come out alive. I don't know, because it's going to be a moment where it's like, dude, somebody's in my house. Ha ha. You know what I mean? Just two shots. But it could be the ones that took you home. In terms of how they beat him, I do think it was extra. I do think they went overboard. I do think they deserve some
oh my God.
I think they deserve some legal repercussions, simply because you stomped on his head 50 times, 50 to 100 times.
Oh yeah, that was
you beat him with a bat. Like, if you watch it, first of all, it's two of y'all. You know, it's like, even in my prime, if me and my brother got on your ass, we're gonna put you down, and then that's gonna be it. It's gonna be like, all right, man, they call the police. All that extra WWF shit, nah, I can't condone that. And I do get that. I hate thieves. One of the worst things is a motherfucker that'll come and take the shit you work so hard for. Motherfucker, I bust my ass and you gonna come steal my shit? But it's the same thing we say with police officers. You're not the judge, jury, and executioner.
You know what they should have did was, they should have, when they got him outside, they should have held him down till the police got there.
There we go.
It's what they were supposed to do. Because, see, unfortunately, now they're going to prison. They're going to jail.
I don't know if they'll go to jail depending on their lawyer, Kamar, but it's definitely going to be a long legal battle.
They're going to jail. They're going to jail. Listen, they're going to jail because the man ran away. It ain't self-defense no more. Once he left the house and got outside, it ain't self-defense no more.
Game over.
But see, the thing I don't like about shit like that, right?
Listen, and that's what they going on. They going on self-defense. That ain't self-defense.
No, at a certain point.
Then, you know what I mean? And not only that, man, you know what I mean? There was plenty of time. They was beating him for a long time. They had plenty of time to come to their senses.
Yeah. Man, the one brother, but Kamar, if you see the pictures,
now,
the one brother looked like he had just gotten his ass whooped, though. If you see the pictures,
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
The one brother looked like, so he probably
at first I thought he was the one.
He was right. That's what I'm saying. So he probably was on 10 already. Like,
right. He's waiting to beat somebody else. Right?
Man, shit. Right. So yeah.
What I don't like about situations like that is because the same exact shit can happen with different color people and they be deemed a hero. What was the one police that killed dude, Michael Mattioli? He held him up in the house and killed him.
Yeah,
remember when they whooped Frank Jude? Yeah, remember when they whooped Frank Jude?
Yes. And Frank Jude inboxes me every day and says, "Good morning, brother Kevin, and good evening, brother Kevin." I've never spoken to him in my life. I don't know why he does it, but he does it. Go ahead, Dion.
Yeah. And not too long ago, we just seen where the motherfuckers did that to dude in New York. So if it was some white boys that caught a black nigga breaking in their house, they would have been deemed heroes. Goddamn Chevy would have been out there with the goddamn key to the city, and then Trump would have came and flew him to Washington and all
to the
type
Army
of shit.
Navy
You know
game,
what I'm saying?
like he did Daniel Penny. Took him to the Army Navy game, right? But Dion, here's the word of the righteous though. Even in that scenario, we would have called that wrong. We would have said no, he should have done some time. So
yeah, but
if the black dudes were to get off, just say they did, right? So you got a good ass lawyer, right? And this is make believe, if you will. And I don't know. Once a firefighter, he should have attorney money. What if he gets off on a formality, right? And they say, okay, you're going to do 6 months in the house correction, and the other brother gets waived or whatever. We're going to say, nah, he was supposed to have done some time for that. For us, the scale is even. Whether you was black or white, you were wrong. We still call our white boys. We're not the ones who say, hey, he's a hero. We the black people. You ain't got to scold us. We know that if he was a white dude, we just seen it with Daniel Penny. We just seen him say he's a hero. He choked the motherfucker out. And he wasn't even that.
Hey, look, because hey, listen, since we talking about being black, I also see it as two black men doing, you know what I mean, some egregious shit to another black man. When like I said, they could have just held him down for the police.
They could have. They could have exercised restraint off top, right? But in the moment,
right. Now, if he'd have been in the house and never made it out that house, I don't give a fuck what they did to him.
Tear that ass up. But if he got out, you know, And if you catch him outside, you like you say, you restrain him and bring him back to the house and be like, "Hey, we can't really stomp this motherfucker out because he got out." You know what I mean? You might can rough him up a little bit. The police get here and say, because what they did to the brother who had I call him a brother, the guy who had done the thing with the 13-year-old. That boy got touched in the parking lot. His mugshot, he had a pumpkin head. They got busy. Right, so it's okay. The police say, "Well, you know, you guys, hey, who did it?" Well, man, we didn't see shit. All right, we're gonna take him down. Right, he's going. Let me see. Chat room popping. Jesse Pear says, "Damn, this happened in Milwaukee. Heard it's hella wild out there. It's Milwaukee is just like every other large city in America. I don't know why people want to make ours worse than everywhere else." It's wild. There's no city, no large city, particularly in the predominantly black community, where you're gonna go where it's always the same. Maybe they don't call them Kia.
I think just that it's smaller, maybe
per capita. Okay,
you know what I mean. I think maybe that's why people feel like that.
Maybe so. But there's cities that are equal to, like, we're bigger. Milwaukee is bigger than Milwaukee is bigger than
I've been to. I feel like it's way worse.
Milwaukee is bigger than Compton. They're bigger than Oakland. Same size as St. Louis. Same size as Cleveland. Along the same size as Detroit in terms of population. Maybe not total area, but and in New York there's boroughs, so they're all broken down. And Milwaukee is huge. Like it's a small city, but it's not a village. Right. So I'm saying it shouldn't be no surprise. You go to Miami, like some of them cities down there, they small all throughout the South.
Like, I ain't saying Milwaukee small. You know what I mean? I'm just saying small compared to like LA.
Everything Chicago. Is small compared to LA. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dallas, Houston. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like small compared to them.
No doubt. I mean, we're not, it's not 1 million people here. And I get what you're saying, but I guess my point is some of the smallest cities are the worst cities.
Yeah, but you're right, though, Kev. Like, really, it's the same shit everywhere. You know what I mean? We just had different types of crime.
I think all the crime, like, I hear Dion talking about Chicago, right? I got partners in Detroit. I got some family in Detroit. I got family in Chicago. Zelenon, West Side, California, South Central Los Angeles. He's in the chat room right now. And they can testify. Hey, it's every place where there's a concentration of black people, it's some shit going down. When there's a lot of us there, it's rough. You know what I mean? It's rough. Jesse said, fuck Daniel the Coward Penny. You're right, man. Roger Zelenon said he wouldn't be a hero if he wasn't a former Marine. Right. He said if he was regular Penny, his ass is convicted. And you think the fact that he was a Marine, okay. Maybe so. You never know. Once again, we are fully aware of the double standard. I just don't want anybody to listen to our show and think, oh, they trying to justify what Ewok said that time. He said we was white splaining. Ewok said they white splaining. I'm not here to, make you feel better about racism. I'm really not. All I'm saying is in the city where I'm from, there's a severe stigma. Anything that's good said about our city is immediately shot down by the people who live here. When dude said there's a food culture here, there's people from here who shot it down. When the Bucks won the cup, there was people from here who shot it down.
I was another one.
If we came out tomorrow and talked about the success of your entrepreneur pursuit, there'd be black people putting you down.
Yeah.
Oh man, that nigga don't do, man. That motherfucker, man, nobody want that shit.
You never make a bunch of videos.
That nigga don't want that shit.
You never make a bunch of videos with his tea and taking pictures of his tea and shit.
Nigga, you must be Malcolm X. Nigga, you Malcolm X. Nigga, this Malcolm X, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is we have a very spiteful mentality, and then we'll go to other cities and brush off the bullshit. Oh, I went to so-and-so and got robbed. But you'll say it's still better than Milwaukee. The fuck out of here, man. It's all the same shit. It has different names in different cities. Like, yeah, we got the Kia Boys. It is a fucked up thing. It is horrible. But in another city, it might be the same problem. They just call it something different. They might just call the shit, carjacking. Or they might just call it,
they just stealing cars. They
right,
steal a lot of
Grand
cars
Theft
out
Auto.
here.
Here it's the Kia Boys. we hate ourselves. We hate ourselves. Black people hate themselves. Black people, I'm telling you, put some good news up. Put some good shit up about black people.
We've been taught to hate ourselves, though. We've been indoctrinated with.
Ain't nobody taught me that. Who taught you to hate yourself?
But we're not talking about us individually as a whole, as a conglomerate.
I'm saying, where does the influence come from? I didn't get the memo that I'm supposed to hate myself. No matter what information I've ever received, none of it said you should hate yourself, Kevin.
You already know where I go back to, but
right. But I wasn't alive then. I wasn't born until 1975, so I can't talk about what the goddamn slave master told my great granddad.
Subconsciously, they say subconsciously they programmed us to hate ourselves. Taking different stuff, demonizing a lot of the shit that we did. Like we talk about our spiritual systems, right? Back traditionally, our spiritual systems, they demonized them all. They got people thinking now like that's the devil and they doing bullshit.
Yep, like voodoo.
You know what I'm saying? Voodoo and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just think subconsciously they did do shit to fuck us up in the head subconsciously. Like how we talk about how they get the little girls Barbie dolls when they little, so they start thinking this was pretty, and you know what I'm saying. So they really ain't looking at themselves like they pretty.
Okay.
But nobody really came to me and was like, hey man, you gotta hate yourself. Fuck that. Let me tell you why. This is why you need to hate yourself, because you be doing this and you know what I mean? Ain't nobody taught me to hate myself, but I do know there's certain things that I recognized and changing different shit about myself that, you know what I mean, I ain't think was too cool.
So for every program, there's a counter program, right?
Definitely.
And so for all of that shit that they had done on us generationally, historically, I heard enough positive reinforcement growing up about black is beautiful and black power and black pride and black empowerment. I heard enough of that to counter all of that. So I can't say I was taught to hate myself. I can say I had two different choices to make. I chose to love myself. I said, this is way more cool for me to embrace the messages that are positive for me, the messages that make me feel good about myself, than to entertain the ones that tell me I ain't shit, even though they were there. Because subconsciously, like you said, Kamar, the way the community behaves, that's, maybe subconsciously there's a thing like, man, you ain't shit, I ain't shit, we ain't shit.
Right.
There's so much positivity to counter that from people who said to me, nah, and all of us, because generationally, you think about our rap music was at a real influenceable age, 12, 13, Black Power, wearing African medallions, X-Clan, Public Enemy. There was a real conscious movement for us as young people.
Yeah, it was different when we was growing up on that note.
But a lot of times, like you can look at we can look at ourselves individually, but like I said, as a whole, when J. Edgar Hoover heard the Black Panthers say Black Power, they resonated Black Power or white power. You feel like when white people heard that, it struck fear in them, because when white people said it represents. That's why they call them black. What they call it, like with the Nation of Islam and all that. So when we were taught self-love and things like that on a national scale, they looked at them as like black superiority groups and things like that, and denounced them, called them Muslims and the Black Panthers America's enemy. Right. You feel what I'm saying?
But hold
That's
on,
like even with the
but even with that, you're talking about what they said. The fact that the Panthers was giving us this message, the fact that Malcolm and Martin got to give us this message, is that positive reinforcement. Of course, they tried to come out and say we're gonna get rid of them, but the effect was already there. We had already felt them. We already said, okay, I agree with this shit. They served their purpose. Yeah, they got murdered. They got the things were done to them, but they created awareness. So once again, it depends on what you choose to focus on. If you're going to embrace what they said so that they wouldn't have died in vain or what they stood for, then you'd have been all right. And a lot of us were as a result of the contributions that they made. But yeah, J. Edgar Hoover, come on. You said that's like the Darth Vader of white people. Like J. Edgar Hoover was no. I totally understand J. Edgar Hoover. First of all, what he said is the one thing that he feared the most, that he thought would be most detrimental to America, was the ascendance of a black messiah. Right? We know he did not like Malcolm. He didn't like Martin, but that's not where he started at. The federal government started with Marcus Garvey, going after him and demeaning him. But Marcus Garvey made and left an impact. You can't erase what he did. You can't say, hey man, at one point this was the largest black organization in the world, and it all it talked about was, in the midst of all of this bullshit y'all hearing and they lynching us and there was awareness created. A lot of black people got their light turned on then and said, oh shit, hey, we finna move differently. So I'm just saying, yeah, it's just like what I said. Anytime you're successful, there's always going to be something against you. Nobody ever just loves you. Like, oh, he made it, I'm so happy for him. It's going to be somebody saying, fuck dude, I don't like dude. So I feel like black people focus more on, they told us we ain't shit. They tried to program us not to be shit. Okay, we know that. But have you invested in empowering yourself to understand that all that's not true? You putting Kamar just said, you worried about the wrong shit. Why am I worried about what a white man said about me? As opposed to focusing on what I know about me. His belief.
Because you can feel like you a king or like we call each other king or whatever, but because we got to look at, they are the ones that's in control of everything. So because they have this negative connotation of you, everything is like when you go to fill out a job application, or you could be in a store, or just fucking simply driving down the neighborhood, or look at what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. They automatically went on some bullshit because the man was jogging, and you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of no matter how much we can have these positive reinforcements of ourselves, but the society is not looked at through our imagery, is looked at through the white man's imagery. You feel what I'm saying?
No, so, I don't.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that you gotta focus on what they think about you, but you do have an uncomfortability. Look at, you just said the other day, you went to an all-white restaurant. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know, you didn't walk up in there because you the fucking Unibarber. They knew you wanted service. But because they looked at you and your family less than the other people that they were serving, they didn't even come over there and bother to ask you if you wanted some fucking bread.
You know what? That's why we left. Because
I mean, leaving ain't shit.
No, it is shit. No, it don't say it ain't shit, because it is shit. Because they didn't get not a goddamn dime of my money. And secondly, what you have to understand is, I'm under no illusions that there's no potential for that to happen to me. I don't say king. I don't call king. Kamar, you had a reel about everybody wasn't no goddamn, you ain't no king. Look, I'm just a regular person. I don't give a fuck how much money I got. I don't care how much title I have. I'm a regular person and I'm a black man. So I'm subject to being treated how black people are treated at any given time. And when I see it, I encounter it, I deal with it, and I move on, because what's most important is for me to live another day. I'm not throwing all my marbles out on the table for some shit that don't nobody give a fuck about anyways. So I wasn't going to crash out at Applebee's in goddamn Roseville, Minnesota for the people.
No, I would never expect you to crash out. You did what was expected.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I did the right thing. I did the right thing. I handled it and we left. Now, if I didn't, now look, the lady said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can we reseat y'all? Can we reseat?" I said, "Hey, me and my wife, hell no, we out." Now, if we'd have went back and sat down, and then said they eventually treated us right, that would have been wrong. That would have been wrong.
That you was treated like that, man.
What the fuck? So nobody's never. Black people mistreat me. I've gone to black restaurants and the service was fucked up.
And walk the fuck out of there too.
Walk the fuck. Thank you, Kamar. It's all the same. I mean, listen. I remember very vividly when the Ponderosa. Remember the black people opened the Ponderosa on North Avenue
on 3rd Street.
Yeah, there was this big to do. because they got this grant and it was an investment. My wife and I in Ponderosa, all black employees, all black management, totally mistreated as a customer. She was out. The only reason I stayed in there because when I told the manager, he said, well, fuck it, I'm just going to give you all the food y'all ordered for free then. And she was calling my phone like, would you come out? $100 worth of food.
I'm thinking about these steaks.
Man, we had shrimp and everything. Like it was, but we left. We, and we didn't spend any money, right? So it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Arab, mistreating people is the nature of man.
I take more offense when white people do it than I do when black people do it. I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay. That's a
dig this. Yeah. Now, see, this is why I say always be talking about businesses stepping their game up, their customer service up. You know what I'm saying? Make it a pleasure for other black people. Make it a pleasure enough for them to want to come back. You know what I'm saying? We got to step our game up too. It ain't just about supporting black people. You know what I mean? We got to support the consumer.
If you want their money,
it go both ways. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I say. It don't matter if the establishment white or it don't matter if it's black. I ain't finna give them a special pass because they black. I still got to spend my hard-earned money.
I guess that's how I see it, because I think that that's the most evolved way to see it is about, look, the power's in the hand of the consumer, right? Yeah. And from a macro to a micro level, because ultimately I have a choice whether or not I'm going to spend some money with you. You might say, well, it didn't hurt me. Well, it didn't hurt me either.
Right.
It didn't hurt me either because you ain't get my money. And that's what it's all about anyways. It's about the exchange. Money for goods, goods for money, right? So, and listen, once again, you got to go way harder in the paint to get me to come out of character at this point in time, because I understand what you're trying to do anyways. When you do see me or you do see one of us and you can tell, oh, these motherfuckers is doing all right. Yeah, you're going to try to come with some bullshit. It's on us to say, that's the bullshit we talking about. Let's go. It ain't on them. You, like I said, I go to, if we start talking about bad customer service, I've been disrespected by Arab gas station and corner store owners way harder than that. I ain't
hell yeah,
call the
that's
police
why I don't go
on
to that gas station on Hampton and Appleton. And I think they under new leadership, but I said fuck them forever.
That's why the glass door stayed cracked and broke, because the dude was nasty with the community. So I don't know if it's different either, Dion, but I know exactly what you're talking about. He was. Zeldon said he's talking about Penny. He said he's responsible for the death point blank. Said for show. Zeldon said accountability. It's all about accountability. He said back in the days we were more accountable and we were more militant. Jesse said Marcus Garvey made an impact with the FBA. He couldn't get anything cracking in Jamaica. My grandparents were Garveyites. Okay. Vince Tony said vicariously, we will forever be traumatized on this soil. The spirit of slavery will forever curse this land. It won't change until we build our own systems. Okay. Hey man, I'm trying to be honest. I'm not traumatized by slavery, Kamar. I'm really not. Do you think you're traumatized by slavery?
No, I'm not, but I think they're speaking in general.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are still. They don't even know it.
That's a unique.
Hell yeah.
That they don't know it.
Remember the other day we was just talking about how some people feel like if you get rich, they're gonna tear you down. You get a piece of money, they're gonna fuck you up. And you know what I mean? Like thinking like that, like it's a cap on life and shit. Like it got you.
I don't think you have to go back to slavery.
But I'm saying, well, it start like that. You know what I mean? You know, the ancestors telling you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you better not do that. It's a lot of old folks nowadays that still be like that.
Damn.
Oh, you best be quiet. Don't say that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I know it's a lot of young people like that nowadays.
That too, right. But you know,
and they learned it from the old folks.
And they don't even know they think like that.
The elders in my family always had a fuck them attitude, though. Like
Mm-hmm.
the elders in my family, I say, fuck them. Go do what you want to do, nephew. My uncle say, nephew, go handle your business. My
That's
parents
how I
say,
was
boy,
taught.
that
That's how I was
my
taught.
parents will say, they don't want you to have nothing. You got to be extra tight. Tighten up, nigga. Take care of your business.
Mhm.
I didn't never get, well, the white man ain't going. And maybe, and once again, y'all talking about in general, and I'm speaking from my own perspective, but
Right.
I can't speak in general because I'm only one person.
Yeah.
I can't speak in general. Now, I know that there's a lot of people who have issues, but I don't know if I'd say they're traumatized by slavery, because some of them are traumatized by shit that happened 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like some of them are dealing with, like, it wasn't slavery that you're traumatized by.
Okay, you
I'm
think
still traumatized by Rodney King.
hold on, let me ask you a question. You think you could be you think trauma can be transgenerational?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very good question. I think it can be if you allow it to be.
Of course, but you know what I mean? But that's why we're saying, like, some people could be still traumatized through slavery.
But after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations, I don't think trauma's that. I don't think it's still. I don't think it still goes that far.
Not you, not
The
me.
history of it still lives on.
Hey, not you, not me. I'm talking about them other cats.
Well, no, I'm even with them. I would argue with them, for them, a person in 2024 to say to me, Kev, I'm really just having problems in life because of slavery. Like, I would have a problem with that statement, and I would look at them.
But
and
I think you looking at it like how motherfuckers just live their everyday life, though.
No,
you know what I'm saying. You're not looking at it how the white man and the police and bullshit like that.
You're saying you think. You don't know for a fact. I can tell you, because I'm sitting here. I can tell you how I see it.
Okay,
because I'm aware of the same white man. I'm aware of the same political system. I'm aware of all of that, just like you. I'm not claiming some trauma from 200 years ago. I'm just not. My family, there's been so many more generations since slavery of us. Our family thrived. So I'm so far genetically, I'm only connected to those people in traits, skin tone, bone structure. I can look at a picture of a relative from 70 years ago and say, we look just alike. But in terms of being traumatized and being affected mentally, I'm nowhere. I can't even relate to him. I can't, because he lived in a time that was just so bad. I can't even imagine it. So I can't, I'm not traumatized by it. I recognize it. I know what it was. We all talk about it ad nauseum. That's all we talk about. We were slaves. We slaves. These slaves. We're slaves. And then people say, we kings. We was kings. I can see how black people are confused. Was you a king or a slave? Or was you a slave king?
Have you ever heard of Dr. Joy LaGrue?
Absolutely not. I don't know who the hell that is.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look up some stuff and I'm gonna send it to you. And you can watch it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But anyway, she has did scientific research that said genetically, we are linked. Genetically, now this is in our DNA, interwoven in our DNA. That's why you always hear me talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome. Because regardless if you be like, well, my family thrived, your family did, but everyone's family didn't. And maybe you try to. Let me finish.
No. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What about the fact that there's many other races that have intertwined with you genetically over the years, from Latino to white?
I don't know if I got any Mexican in my family.
You have some. You're not 100% black. You are not 100% pure West African. You are not a Nigerian. You're not a Kenyan. You are the amalgamation of years of interbreeding. We all have some.
I'm not going to take that.
We all have something in us. So at one point, the white part of you came in, the Puerto Rican part came in, the Indian part came in. How the fuck you still traumatized about the Nigerian part?
I'm not going to accept that. I'm black.
You are black. And black means you are a product of a system in which it's a racial mixed up fucking melting pot. That's what black is. Because if you was Nigerian, if you was from Nigeria, you'd be Nigerian. You are black.
See, But see, now, if you know the history of slavery, a lot of people that come from inter Africa who were captured on the coastal regions of Africa. You understand what I'm saying?
Still
That's
missing
why
the
all
point of what I'm
Africans,
saying. You're no
Yeah,
longer that
yeah.
person. You ain't genetically linked to that person. You got so much in you. You don't,
I never did a DNA test.
go do
I
it.
never did a DNA.
I bet
And
you find out you ain't 100% Congolese.
I'm not gonna accept that. I'm black. And then sometimes
Right.
people, the
You don't know what you
generational,
are.
the generational,
What's your last
the
name?
generation.
What's your last
Hold
name?
on, Kev.
What's your
The
last name?
generational.
What's your last name?
It start with the South.
What's your last name?
I'm not gonna say my last name on here. You know my last name.
Is it an African name?
Where
you get it from?
But I don't know.
There you go. So then stop talking about. I'm traumatized by slavery, and you don't even know your people might not even been slaves.
Wait, hold on. And then not only that though, you know what I'm saying? Maybe people could be traumatized by denying the fact that they do suffer from trauma. Like, well, I don't know. I'm so far removed from that shit. I just don't know, and I don't want to relive that. You know, we living in a new day and age, and this, that, and other. But slavery itself, the institution of it, caused white people to be in certain positions, and then we ain't got to say money wise, but just making them
around.
feel
You're
like
jumping around. You talking about being traumatized. Now you're gonna talk about white people being empowered.
Because they always put because if you let me finish, because by them being in a position of authority, they dished out trauma where you could be walking down the street and you couldn't walk on the sidewalk. And this was back in the 60s.
When did it happen to you? When did it happen to you?
It doesn't make no difference that it
makes all the world. It makes a world of difference. When did it happen to you?
To it.
How?
I mean, I can relate to it, Kev.
Yeah, you choose to relate to it. That's what your focus is. Is anything you invest in, you get returns on, right? Like I could look at it and say, hey, I mean, it's not like we haven't been discriminated against. I was just talking about me having an incident last weekend. I'm not traumatized by that shit. You think I'm in 2 years? I'm not going to even fuck. In 2 weeks, I'm not going to remember it. And I don't relate to no black person who was trying to sit at a lunch counter and white people didn't want them there and he still wanted to sit there. I don't relate to that because that's stupid to me. And I know my family, that's why none of my family was those people. Like, fuck that restaurant. I'm not going in there fucking with them white people. I'm going to go to the black restaurant. That's all I'm saying. Let me give a chat room. Jesse says 8 million blacks FBA mainly with no technology, just analog radio and newspaper, postal. Garvey never made it to a Kibi line or Africa. He didn't. He got deported. He got hammered by the United States government. He said that's how my elders was too, Kev. Hold on. Kamar's talking about epigenetics. That's what he says you talking about, Kamar. Epigenetics. Okay. Wow. Joy DeGure is the founder of post-traumatic slave syndrome, post-traumative syndrome. I'm being honest when I say I never read her shit. I'm not. She could be very, very, credible as a scholar. I've never read. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I'm up on her shit. I'm not. Never read her shit. I've read other things in relation to DNA and genetics and generational trauma and all this kind of shit. So I don't have every article. He said we have FBA and ethnogenesis here. Slave disorder. Said black codes. Hold on, let me read this right. Black code laws. Dion talking about. I don't. Once again, I'm fully aware of all the shit that has happened to us. It's funny when we had this conversation and people start telling me shit that I already know. Man, in 1825, you couldn't wear black socks and all this shit. I'm fully aware of all that. All I'm saying is you got to live for today and tomorrow. You cannot cry over yesterday. We are all traumatized by something. So even if you still in 2024 are registering as I'm still suffering from slavery, you got to deal with that shit and move on eventually too. Even if I accepted everything you said, Dion, the answer to the question would be, I got to move on. I got to figure out a way to move forward. That's why I'm not disagreeing with you, but I am disagreeing with you. Because we're talking about the same common knowledge, but I'm saying, what are we going to do right now? If we're so informed about all of this shit, we've gone back and done the research and said, oh, my family. Then I said, what you asked me earlier, I said, it depends on what you choose, because somebody has to decide, I'm going to break the chain. I came from this whole environment of dysfunction and craziness. I got to get away from this shit. Somebody has to make that decision. That's usually how the cycle is broken, right? If I beat my wife's ass and say, my daddy beat my mama ass, and he beat my mama ass because his daddy beat his mama ass. At what point do it stop unless my son say, I'm never going to do what my father did. I'm not beating my woman's ass. Then the cycle's broken. Or he could just lean on it and say, I'm traumatized by seeing my daddy whip my mama ass, so that's why I whip my mama ass. I whip my wife ass, right? Like monkey see, monkey do. Right? That's just me. Everybody's, Dion, you're welcome to your opinion. I want to say that, and very appreciated, by the way. I'm not shooting you down. I'm just passionate about my disagreement.
Oh no, I know.
So, I mean, we're all right, Kamar. You can't be wrong on Outlaw Radio if you have an opinion. That's one of the great things about
all it is anyway.
Right. It's all it is. No gospel, right? Yeah, now y'all see the latest bullshit, and this goes into Dion's court. Score one for Dion, because here's the deviousness of white privilege, in which a judge has decided to allow Derek Chauvin's people to go and re-examine the evidence from, I guess, the forensic evidence or the autopsy results from George Floyd, looking at his heart tissue, his blood, and all these things, because there's still the argument that Derek Chauvin, that they're making, Derek Chauvin didn't kill him. He would have been dead in 20 minutes if Derek Chauvin hadn't done what he done to him. He was the levels of intoxication was that severe. His health was that bad. And so this could potentially lead to Derek Chauvin getting the federal murder thrown out. So the charges could be vacated. If they rule that, okay, he did traumatize him, but he would have been dead anyways. And so now when you talk about some bullshit that you see in this country that white people can pull off that does piss you off, this is a perfect example. This is why people say, like, oh man, come the fuck on.
That whole, even what's going on with this silly motherfucker about to come back to the White House. I don't even want to say his name. All the bullshit like that is fine. You can incite a riot. You can have all these felonies, all this bullshit, and people look over and say, well, we want cheaper bread and eggs. And motherfuckers, and then no experience. That's why I be like, this, like, I don't even understand that shit. I still be like, how in the fuck did this guy who just, I never really knew who Donald Trump was. I heard his name in rap songs, but who the fuck is, I don't give a fuck about him. That's just like Warren Buffett. I couldn't even tell you how Warren Buffett looked. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, and then you see all the bullshit that took place, and now they about to let this man back up in there. And, man, we about to have a roller coaster, boy.
This is the energy. This is the energy that myself, a bunch of other black people were talking about. This is what you're about to get with Trump. You're about to get episode after episode of injustice and anti-minority behavior. I'm not going to say it's all on black people, because you're talking about mass deportations. And poor people, believe it or not, who are not in your tax bracket, don't benefit from your presidency because they've never been able to weaponize their whiteness. That's how they ended up being poor in the first place. Mm-hmm. And you have to know that all white people ain't rich. And that's another thing that black people in this country assume. And they say, white people did this and white people did that. That's true. But all white people are not rich. All white people are not 1%ers. They're not all affluent. They're not all decision makers. So a lot of them is poor as fuck too. So it's not going to just be us that's affected by this. Poor people in general are about to see a rough ass 4 years, very rough 4 years. And when you start to speak on the removal of a lot of social welfare programs, and I hear you every time you say that, And you're saying people don't understand that if you currently are receiving any benefits, you just voted for the person who could potentially take those benefits from you.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, meaning you voted against your own best interests because you didn't do a deep dive into who you were voting for. So I get that. But I think in any situation that we're in, the main thing we got to figure out how to do is fight. Like when you stop fighting, to me, you stop living. When you stop confronting things that you need to confront in your life, it's over. You're no longer moving. You're standing still. So if I'm gonna say, "Oh well, I'm black and I'm slavery. I used to be a slave. My family was slaves, and we ain't shit. So I'm just going into I'm fuck it." Then that's how you get people who are in the hood. Like fuck it. I ain't really trying. What can I do? These white. Have you ever talked to a person from the hood who said, "Man, these white folks ain't gonna let a nigga do shit anyways"? That's why I be like, "Fuck it." How
Hey,
many
look,
of your homeboys?
that's that post-traumatic slavery disorder right there. That's what I was trying to get at right there.
Okay.
People think like that. Like these white folks ain't gonna let us. Come on, man, stop that shit. You gotta get the fuck away from me with that.
But it's okay. Come on. But I would think that to me, what I would say is, but you're not traumatized by slavery, though. You are not. You know nothing of it. I'm not you personally. I'm saying a person who says that.
It's the thought of these white people gonna do this because the white people is who had you in slavery. The white people is the ones who had us to where we can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I just feel like it stems from that. This way of thinking.
What about the slaves?
It's that white supremacy, you know what I mean? Getting caught up in the whole white supremacy thing, and you start thinking like these white folks ain't gonna let us do nothing. They ain't gonna let you. Why won't they let you do nothing?
So, Kamar, I think excellent therapy for them would be to tell them, even during slavery, there was a lot of black people who ran. There's a lot of black people who resisted. They lost their lives.
I feel you, Kev. I just understand that everybody don't think like we do.
Oh, I know that. Shit. Thank God. And thank God for that.
That's probably why a lot of motherfuckers ain't go vote neither. And I feel them on it. Motherfuckers is like, and I had that mentality. I got that mentality too. Like, they gonna put who the fuck they want in the White House. You know what I'm saying? And we seen that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I just seen the people vote. I just seen the people vote for Trump. I still be hearing,
little talks and shit about motherfuckers like they say something ain't right about this election, but if it ever come out, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's like on the real. I think the whole system should be. They need whoever get in the White House after this. They need to do that shit all over again because we need checks and balances like Great Britain has. Because they got the Parliament and they got the Prime Minister, and I believe the Parliament can get the Prime Minister up out of there. You feel what I'm saying? Because you see, they got that lady up out of there because she wasn't doing what the fuck she was supposed to be doing. Like that shit. This shit needs to be rewrote. Even with the Supreme Court.
You do know that there's severe race problems in the UK, right? You know that they've had some race riots and they've had some horrific incidents in which minority communities they get violated too. I'm not justifying, I'm just saying there's no perfect place on earth. Like there's nowhere we can go right now where it's nirvana. There's no black utopia. And so I think you just have to stand and fight. And you have to say, you said we need checks and balances like the UK. I don't want to live in the UK. I want to live in the US. I don't want to emulate the UK. I really don't. Because they're going to make their rules. That parliament and that prime minister, guess who they don't represent, Dion? The people of color in the UK. That is the white man's land. That's where he rules with his hand, his white hand. So I don't. You said UK. I just thought that was like when usually you say something like Finland or some shit I don't know about. So I'm like, damn, they living good over there. You say the UK.
No, I want to talk about how they living, but what has happened, as you know, I don't like using that word, the forefathers, because they're not my forefathers, and I hate when people say that. But the people that wrote the Constitution that enacted this republic that we live in, supposed to be a democratic system. And even though at the time when the Constitution was written, we were still slaves, and then they enacted in there that we was 3/5 of a person, but they never foreseen what's happening now. That's why they didn't have those checks and balances. Like with the Supreme Court, somebody should have had it with the Supreme Court that they're not allowed to run forever till they die. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe it should be a 4-year term. Maybe it should be an 8-year term. And then with the bipartisan bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Also with the president shouldn't just be able to do what the fuck he want to do. You feel what I'm saying? Because if those things would have been enacted and been in place, like we always say, we got the checks and balances, but now you got a motherfucker up in there that's damn near basically a madman. Then he got the House. Then he damn near got the whole Senate. Then he got the Supreme Court. Then he's putting people, he got people in his corner, like motherfuckers was just saying, like, ain't Elon Musk an immigrant? You know, but like with us, when we say immigrant, we thinking of Mexicans and, you know, not us, but America. You know, but it's a lot of European immigrants that should have their ass over here neither. You feel what I'm saying? So with all that I'm saying, they never foreseen that. So they thought just basically having the executive, legislative, this judicial, that one couldn't do nothing without the other. But now everybody corrupt. So where is our power as the people? You feel what I'm saying? Because on a situation like that, I feel like it should have been goddamn almost like a civil war where, okay, we want this person. She got 48%. She only missed the presidency by 3 million votes. Even though he got 312 electoral votes, she got 226. She was somebody she was representing. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no difference.
She lost.
That's where shit should have acted where we could have.
Why would we have a civil war and she lost?
Because he's not representing us. He's not representing us. He's not.
She wasn't either, though. She wasn't representing us.
Somebody.
Well, she
was representing somebody.
She wasn't representing us. Tell me what she was doing that made you think she was representing us.
Wait, hold on. And then not only that, I'm not going to use it like us, like individually, because it's not about an individual.
I'm talking about us as a people, as black people. How was she representing? What did she do that represented us?
She wasn't talking about any of the Department of Education. She wasn't talking about cutting people off from Medicare. She wasn't talking about any SNAP benefits, fucking with the FHA. She wasn't talking about shit like that. She wasn't talking about pardoning the motherfuckers that we literally seen commit a crime, run up in the state capitol and do all type of bullshit.
Her counterpart just pardoned his son, who is a child molester.
That's his son.
Well,
shit.
It don't matter. He pardoned.
I'm not mad at him for pardoning his son.
We don't know what her policy would have been on the problem with the Department of Education. We don't know. And Trump didn't say he was going to do it. There was the Project 2025.
He did say he was going to do it. He was talking about it.
Which alludes to it.
If you've been listening to his interviews,
he wasn't specific on it. He spoke against it. Like he spoke in general about a lot of shit. She wasn't. She had no policy, Dion, that represented us. She would listen.
Who is us though?
People of color, black people, foundational black Americans. She didn't represent us.
I'm not gonna
you
go
just
for
said
that.
she represented us. She did not represent us. She's married to a white man and she's not even black. She did not represent us.
I'm not talking about us as black people. I'm talking about people who believe in the democracy of the United States.
Oh, I'm talking about black
That's
people.
what I'm talking about.
It's Outlaw Radio. I'm talking about black people.
Ain't no president ever represented.
Okay.
Listen,
so why is she any better than anybody else?
Ain't no president ever said they represent us. Ain't no mayor ever said they represent us. Ain't no governor. See, you got to understand this, and I know you do understand. Can't no politician come out and say, I'm going to solely do this for black people because we still a minority in the United States of America. Do you think them white people would allow rules they didn't even care about the George Floyd shit?
But you're the one who said she represented us. I didn't say it.
Okay, how should I say it then? She represented the people of America. 48% of the people of America voted for that woman. You feel what I'm saying?
She got voters.
She don't represent
the winning
that
side
man
said Trump represented us. A lot of people who voted for Trump said he represents us more than she does. They say he's a man of the people. Have you not heard this argument?
I ain't heard. I don't even listen to nothing about dude.
A multitude of people said no. He represents the people. I feel like he's not a politician. He represents us.
They're ignorant.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
He said, "Fuck Derek Chauvin. I'm glad he got picked up on Black Friday last year. Rest in peace, George Floyd." He said the Democrats only have themselves to blame because they neglected their base. He said, agreed. Since civil rights, our people have become stagnant. This is all Jesse Parrish. He said, I've lost count, Kev. I think he's referring to something we said earlier. Because they have a whole system that's against us. We can't ignore that. Just don't let it stop you. Yeah, I don't ignore it. I don't, it is what it is. Like, I'm worried about shit I can't control. He said, racist white supremacy is global. It's not just in the USA. No Wakanda, he says. Correct. Elon Musk is a Boer from Tanzania or South Africa. He's
from South Africa.
He's from South Africa. The evil is white people. He said we didn't know her policy because she had none. See, that's what I'm saying. What I don't want this to turn into is a partisan argument. Did y'all also see that here, Barada, the notorious landlord here, has been found liable for, he lost a state lawsuit against him, and it is regarding his policies towards evictions. And he had all these when he wasn't supposed to be evicting people. He was like, fuck it, I got bread. And I want to read to you all what the actual judgment is. It's a $1.7 million judgment. And it's supposed to serve the people who were victims of his illegal practices in regards to real estate. So it says the state reaches a resolution with Barada Properties. 300 tenants will receive short-term income-based assistance. He has to implement an eviction diversion program. It says $1.3 million in grants allocated for tenants and move-out assistance payments for each tenant facing eviction. If you're not from here, you don't know about Barada and his occupation of the city over the last 10 years. Like if it's vacant, he bought it, right? And we are logical on the show, so we talked about the fact that one thing he does do is he rents to people who can't get rent anywhere else, right? Like nobody will rent to them because of whatever. And so a lot of his properties are substandard. We've seen nightmare situations. Kamar, do you remember when we talked about the lady who her upstairs neighbor had died and there was actual like bugs coming down her in her shower, and the person was deceased for days, maybe weeks, and they didn't even know about it? You see endless footage of somebody water main busting, their crib is flooded and all this kind of stuff. So he is in effect a slumlord, but he's being regulated to the tune of $1.7 million. And so it's supposed to be shared amongst the victims. Did you see this, or what you think about this? You muted.
No, I didn't. I just heard he was in jail. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know nothing about why or nothing. It was just something quick. I don't know if it was somebody talking I heard, and you know what I'm saying? But so that's a settlement that he's gonna have to pay?
Yes, $1.7 million.
So what if he don't got it?
Then I'm guessing it's a court order. So he lost.
They start taking property then?
I'm guessing there'll be some seizure of some sort. I mean, once the court say you got to give it, right? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I don't know if I ain't got that shit. Well, you better figure it out. Like, you better sell some shit or something. That's a good question. I don't know if he resists. And I don't even know what the appeals process for the judgment is. But this was the news today that the state, this was something that the state had taken up because of his the way the evictions and that's why a lot of the money is going towards eviction, evasion, prevention, and stuff like that, and income based, because I know he has so much property, and I think his maintenance schedule is behind probably, And so he probably got a property and say, oh, it's cleared citywide, code wise. Okay, people can move in. And then people move in and say, whoa, the toilet, whoa, the plumbing, whoa, the wiring. And he says, oh, call maintenance. And so, but come on, I think he got the 1.7. Honestly, I think he
got it too.
I think he got it.
I was just wondering, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people did you say that he got to pay out?
Well, I don't have the exact amount of people, but I have what he has to pay out in terms of monetary compensation. And I can read that once again. Give me a second. And this is in the People's News Network, just in case if people say, well, where do I find this at? It's in the People's News Network. So out of this $1.7 million lawsuit, I want to break down again where it's going. And it's supposed to be, it's kind of like a class action lawsuit in which the victims, they break it up and give the victims pieces. So 300 tenants will receive short-term income-based assistance. And they have to start an eviction diversion program. And then there's $1.3 million that he has to allocate in grants for tenants. And we don't know what those grants are based on, but $1.3 million of this money is supposed to go to tenants. And then move out of
system. It's probably going to be rent-free for a while.
Depending on how many tenants he got. And that's a great question.
I mean, I'm guessing because that's what it kind of sounds like. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're going to credit
you take the grants and then you take the income-based rent. So like you said, a lot of people are about to get some breaks on their rent. Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Like you say, the grants. So then the grant mean they're going to cover something, right?
Somebody can say, hey, I qualify for that.
Yeah.
And you're going to get $2,000.
So now they rent paid for a year or some shit.
Or if it's a cash grant, here go your 2 G's.
Right. I don't know. If I was him, I probably would rather let him live rent free.
If that's an option, I think the problem that what they want to really do here is hit his ass and say, this is going to cost you money, bro. It's going to cost you money. So I think that's a great development. I'm happy that because like we say, man, just because somebody is not of this kind of a certain income level, you don't deserve to be treated like shit just because you don't have a lot of money. I guess that's where I'm going. Like, and shame on the motherfucker that does that, right? Like I don't care how much money you got. I think it's out of pocket for you to look down on people who don't have as much as you. That's why I always trip on Brazil and broke ass niggas, you broke motherfuckers. And it's like, man, you a bad month away from that shit at all times, right? That just like you got that shit, it can be lost. So I just hate. I'm always happy when one of them get they issue. I was hoping Courtney showed up tonight because I wanted to tell her she was correct because we were talking about Jay-Z on Monday. Now, where she was correct there was that Jay-Z there's no paperwork officially filed of him suing Jaguar Wright. So she was right in that. Where she was wrong at is I did find footage. I did find documentation of the fact that Jaguar is backpedaling. She is threatening to sue bloggers if they share her talking about what Jay-Z did, or if she's threatening to sue them now. And she's saying like, no, I didn't say that. She is doing that. She is backtracking. I would attribute that to some legal pressure, but maybe not. Maybe she's found her morals, but there is no official lawsuit. But Jay-Z got his lawyers active, and I think he's gonna beat this rape case. And then once that happens to Jay, because now come on, this is interesting. Because we kept saying, we hear all these people now who come out in the media and wild out. And why ain't nobody suing them? Why ain't nobody suing them? I think this will be a precedent that Jay-Z sets where if you say his name from now on, them Jews coming to see you.
You better know what the fuck you talking about.
No, enough. It's like enough is enough, right?
Straight up. Enough of this shit.
Yeah, I think that's gonna set a precedence for all these cats with money to now.
That's how everybody should be, though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think that's gonna start this off.
Once it gets to the point where it starts turning into a legal issue, but you know what I mean? Like, as long as a motherfucker just talking on the internet, fuck.
Yeah, but when she put that out there on Piers Morgan, I think that this is something that makes people like this young lady say, you know what? I'm finna get some of that money. He did me too, because I got a picture with him somewhere. You know what I mean? And they're saying, okay, his lawyers came out and said, well, he had a strictly professional relationship with Mr. Combs. That is it. And people are, why he disowned and he staying away from Puffy? And why wouldn't you? This shit already got you caught up. Got your girl mad at you. She about to leave. So why wouldn't you say, oh no, you know what? You keep my name out your mouth, motherfucker. I'm not playing no games with you. He says, this is Jesse. He said, agreed, Kev, on that looking down on poor folks. I feel sorry for people who, if poverty has gotten you to the point where it's affected your perception, Kamar, like you've been so poor and you've seen so much dysfunction for so long that you now are officially discombobulated by it. Like, I don't even have hope. I don't think there's anything out here for me, so I just accept whatever. And there are a lot of people like that, right?
Yes, it is.
I don't look down on them. A lot of times I'm seeing the behavior.
You can't look down on them because they don't know.
Well, I'm just looking at them, and a lot of times I'm thinking like, damn, I wish that person could, get some help. Like, I wish they could find something that turns it around for them.
Yeah, it's like they don't know what they don't know.
And some of them don't want to know nothing.
And that make them not want to know nothing.
Like, fuck it.
Right.
I'm just saying, when I see them, I'll say, oh, look at them. Oh, motherfucker. I just shake my head and say, man, my poor people. My people, man. I feel bad. I feel empathy. And I'm grateful at the same time, saying, man, thank God that I didn't end up, because that could have been me. I haven't done nothing so righteous that it could have never been me. So I don't look down on them, man. I don't, I'm not really into anti-Negro behavior. I'm not. That's why you won't hear me. I don't talk down on black people like that. I don't, if you really do something that's cause for it, I'll call you what you are. But my thing is not to be talking down on each other, man, and always hating on somebody. Like, hate, man, that shit is thick. It is, man, that shit is real in the community, and it could create a situation where you can lose your life. Fuck dude, man. If I see dude riding around here, or he got his little house and shit, people get, man, that hate will create a situation where you got to strap up. Say, I'm shooting the first motherfucker. You're right, Paris. He said Jaguar Wright was on hella platforms talking about Jay-Z. She hasn't talked about everybody. I just think that this is a time, because of what just happened in 2024 when Cat came out and called people out, and this shit went mania after that. I think heading towards the future, people who have money are going to really have legal counsel to deal with even the smallest claims, Kamar. Like, shut motherfuckers down, because the further we go into the Diddy trial, the more we don't know who name finna get called. We've already seen this. If you just friends with him, your name been thrown. Jay-Z's been plenty people thrown into the mix with Diddy. Like, oh, he raped. I'm suing both of them. So I think the precedent will be moving forward. Oh, you on your little YouTube channel talking about me? Psh, take that content down. I'm getting your channel killed. And you will never know. Like, what happened? Oh, why they take my shit down? So I just think that's how. I think that's how celebrities are gonna start defending themselves, though. That's all. Do y'all think?
What?
Go ahead, Dion.
I was about to say, what you think about Mike Vick?
Congratulations to Mike Vick, man.
Okay, all right.
Listen,
you think there's gonna be a lot of hype around him, like Dion?
Absolutely, smaller school, but it's a HBCU, and oh yeah. All the spots.
The thing about Dion, though, is Dion is a hell of a inspired. Like, he inspired the shit out of them kids. You know what I mean? And I wonder if Mike Vick gonna have that same effect.
Well, I know Dion learned in the trenches. He paid his dues. He went from coaching Pee-wees up through high school to a HBCU, and now he went D1. I don't know what Mike Vick's coaching acumen is. I don't know. And like you said, Kamar, being able to inspire people and lead people, I don't know if this is one of Mike Vick's strengths. His knowledge of the game should be intricate, but I would hope he hires the right people. He has the right people around him. Like, his staff is going to have to be very strong, but I think it's a good thing. I've always felt bad for Mike Vick because I
think it's a good
he
thing
villainized
too.
way too much for killing some goddamn dogs.
I think that's another job that black men can get after they come out the game.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I like that idea.
And a lot of them do, because that's all a lot of them know, Kamar.
Yep.
Like, shit, this is all I know. So I'm finna coach my ass off.
Right.
But yeah, man,
and
I think
especially if they was a star, you know what I'm saying? You got people that want to play for him now.
Well, we sure know Mike Vick should be good at teaching these young boys humility and saying, hey, don't let this shit, cherish this shit and work on your craft and be focused. Don't, because you get sidebarred and then you get fucked off like he did. Because that was his cousin that he was doing the dog fighting shit with, and he ended up getting snitched on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And went to the joint.
Yeah. Whole career ruined. In his prime.
That's crazy.
In his prime.
They just tear us down any type of way they can. If they ain't saying we homosexuals, they trying to say we doing some old weird shit. It's just anything a black man do. Like, what's that one motherfucker named Ben Roethlisberger? He could fuck little girls and kick his wife in the ass and do whatever. He held a hero. Them people, Peter came to Mike Vick. They hated him. They tried to destroy him. Boy, I swear to God, if a motherfucker, and they say that shit just don't exist with us on the rail, boy, they villainize us over anything.
Yeah, who says it don't exist though?
Who
said that?
I'm just saying though, we just had a whole, like from the time I got off the highway on 41 to get back down here where I'm at about 43, we talked about, man, the slavery shit don't exist and this, that, and
nobody said that. Nobody said that. Don't misquote us to win the argument, right? They say some people will never let the truth stand in the way of a good story, right? Don't say that, because nobody said it didn't exist. Nobody said racism didn't exist, white privilege didn't exist. Nobody ever said, and even Kamar and people in the chat room said they believe in a version of traumatic slavery, post-slavery, whatever the fuck you said.
What the hell?
It was me on that island by myself saying, in 2024, your ass is not traumatized by slavery. That's what I said. So if anybody disagree, it wasn't Kamar, it was me. I still believe that.
I know, Cam. I'm just saying, but you don't. But see, I have a conversation like this with a friend of mine on the daily. You know what I'm saying? He's a listener to the show. He never call in, but I have so this is like conversations that I have with people, even sometimes with my girl who stays in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? So this be ongoing with me. So I'm just thinking about, like, this man is a convicted felon over some bullshit that he really didn't even have nothing to do with. Because you allowed a motherfucker to use your property to fight dogs and bury them, and a motherfucker end up telling on you, and your whole career go down the drain. And
he was involved though. He did kill some dogs himself. He admitted this. He did murder some dogs because when you in the dog fighting ring, the dog that won't fight, what happens? It's curtains. Ooh. Yeah, and he admitted he was involved. See, that's what I'm saying. I can't commit the crime, and when they catch me, I say y'all just doing this because I'm black. I mean, it's like we say, boycott the jail. Had he just told his cousin on top, I'm not fucking with that dog fighting shit. But what he said was, where he comes from in Virginia, this was a thing. Like, everybody does, this is what we do. And Kamar, for a minute, I don't know if this still goes on, that used to be a thing up here too.
Yeah.
Where motherfuckers have, hey, we rolling tonight.
On the south side, they be chicken fighting. The Mexicans be, boy, they got some goddamn roosters that'll put your eye out.
That's legal.
Yeah, I used to go to some of Mike Lock dog fights back in the day.
Okay.
Brutal.
I seen one, Kamar, and it was the most disgusting thing I ever seen in my life. And I never, after that, the homie said, man, we finna go over. I said, nah, man, because it was just to the point where both dogs was exhausted. So they was basically, one was just holding on to the other one. It's just blood everywhere. And it was just like, he wasn't killing them. He was wore out. So he's just holding on to the side of his face. It was just horrible. And I was like, and cats think this cool? Like, it was disgusting. I said, nah, this ain't my speed. But it was a thing that they were doing in the community. I feel like Mike Vick should have knew. He should have knew I shouldn't be doing this shit. And if I get caught, I'm going to go and do my time because I did do this shit.
I'm gonna tell you how cold white privilege is, or whatever you want to say. White. We all the same age. I remember back in the days, because I'm a shorty, 85, 86, 87. Pit Bulls in Chicago, Pit Bulls, Doberman Pinschers, Rottweilers, German Shepherds was damn near banned. Man, I swear to God, right now you see the white people, oh, they're pitties. They're just big couch hippos. We love them. You know what I mean? You see how 30 years ago almost, this dog was the nigga of the dogs, was villainized.
I'm talking about the dogs.
He was the nigga of the dogs. I'm talking about I hated him. And I guess a couple of white people seen it, they, oh, they're not bad. Oh, they're just big old, to let them lick them. I don't let my dog lick me in the face. So you try to be like, man, you love your dog too. I don't let no dog lick me in the face, okay, man? Because he licks his ass. And the only reason, I'm going to keep it real with you, I didn't like dogs. The only reason I got a dog because I bought a house and I couldn't have a gun. So I figured my dog would be a protector for me, but that's neither here nor there, because that motherfucker opened the door for a burglar. But now I love dogs, little dogs. But yeah, you know, so Pit Bulls was villainized. I'm talking about, boy, you get good, boy, and in some states still, you got to have a permit to own a Pit Bull. So when white people start liking them, they just, oh, they're big old couch hippos, and look at them, we love them, and blah, 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 blah. So when white people start paying attention to shit and loving it, you know, it goes from being villainized to, oh, it's the people that, you know, it's the owners that make the dogs bad. They're not really vicious dogs, you know. So I'm just saying, I don't know if you've seen that over the past 30 years, but I just be tripping off some of this shit, though. You know what I'm saying with these people. These people funny as a motherfucker to me. Some of this shit do be funny, and some of it don't be funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Jesse said he's telling me the name is post-traumative slave disorder. Right? Black PTSD, post-traumative slave disorder. It would be lovely to go and do like all this research on technically how genetically this is a thing for us. I just don't have the time. I don't, because once again, I'm aware of what I'm traumatized by. I know what I'm traumatized by. I know about events in my life that I can close my eyes and see them as if they just happened yesterday. Slavery ain't one of them. Feeling like a slave is not one of them. Feeling like I don't love myself is not one of them. Feeling like I can't do anything in life because I'm not white is not one of them. That's just me, though. I'm an individual. That's why I'm saying there's no need for me to go watch Dr. Umafa or whatever her name was. I'm sorry.
Dr. Joy LeGroux.
Oh, yeah, LeGroux. I don't need to watch her. I'll be watching like, I don't know.
Even with Frances Cress Welsing, she broke the shit down, too. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Joy LeGroux is just one of them, but it's a lot of them. Even with Umar Johnson, he'll go into the shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but like you said,
I rarely click on anything Umar says.
Man, I fuck with Umar. He might have went crazy over the years and shit, you know, with some shit. But, you know, it's almost like how we eat food. Our body takes whatever nutrition we could get from the food and it shits the rest out. So with Umar, I listen to shit that, you know, makes sense to him and shit like that makes sense to me. And the rest of the shit, I shit out.
I did security. I did security for him when I was with the Panthers, and he came here to speak. We did security. I got to meet him, and we talked to him a little bit after his presentation. I'm cool, but some people need that though. He is necessary for some people because he's one of the things that will make them listen, and they'll learn. You know what I'm saying? And if he's doing that and creating awareness where there is none, more power to him. I'm just saying at this point, I don't need to listen to him. He doesn't.
You know who else I listen to?
He doesn't say anything to me that's gonna help me move the needle forward.
Dr. Khalid Muhammad, man, he was a powerful brother.
He
man.
was. But there's a long conversation with that too. And it's too late in the show for us to go there. He was, but I'm not reading him today, applying it to my everyday. Like, I don't think I'm trying to say this the right way. There have been a lot of people who said things at certain points in times throughout history that were pertinent and relevant, but I don't go back and draw off of them today. I look at it and I keep it in context and say, for their time, that was applicable. But in the times I live in now, things are different. You got to move differently. I'm not, once again, I thought he was some of the things Khalid Abdul Muhammad said were, and this is the 90s when I was really fired up about this kind of shit, Kamar. I was really like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when I listen to a lot of it now, I'm like, not a lot of it, but some of it. I say, I don't know about that. But that's just me. That's just me. It's just me. I tell people all the time, you got an opinion? They say, yeah. I say, you don't want to hear what I got to say? Only what you got to say? They say, yeah. I said, get you a podcast then, goddamn it. Get your own show. He said, what about saying Kofa, Kev? I would have to see what was written. What was written, man. I've read so much shit over my lifetime. Sometimes I see shit and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Like I don't really live off another man's words. My life is not guided by no other man, Kamar. Like I don't have anybody that I go to and say, I need advice about this or I need to know how to handle it. There's no man in my life that provides that for me. I mean,
the Bible was written by man, and a lot of people be inspired by the Bible.
I don't live my life by the Bible. I don't walk around quoting the Bible. So I'm just saying, a lot of times when people throw stuff at me like, hey, you ever read? And it's like, okay, I may have read this shit, but I'm not walking around quoting it. Like I don't. When I'm looking for something, I go within, and then I go upstairs to what I believe to be God. There's no. When my father passed, that was the only older man that I could have said, "Hey, Pop, what should I do?" Like no other man. I haven't met another man that I was like, "Yo, you are like a father figure to me." I see a lot of brothers get that up to sometimes say, "This brother's like a father to me." That is a very serious thing to me because my father was that dude. So I always felt like I'd be disrespectful if I said to another man, hey, yo, you was like a father figure to me. No, you wasn't because you ain't even on his level. That's just from me knowing him and other people who knew my father that would tell you, nah, that man was different. So yeah, I can't quote all of the books, man. I can't quote I don't have all the doctors and all that. And so I see, I didn't even know this. He said Sankofa means go back to past and pledge something and bring it to the present. No, not a book. It's Ganon or I don't know. You see how ignorant I was? I thought it was a nigga who wrote a book. I said, I ain't read this shit. I don't even know what that is. Do I need to know that? Do I need somebody to tell me? Kamar, do you need somebody to tell you that?
Nah.
Do you need somebody to explain Sankofa to you?
Nah.
It's not a loaded question. I'm like,
I don't.
I know you've read a lot of things, done a lot of research, but do you have some? Is there some?
Well, the thing about Sankofa, right? It's about getting knowledge from before, right? So in a sense, I do it now, right? When I talk about how we live traditionally, you know what I mean? Like when I talk about different stuff about our spiritual system. You know what I mean? The information I go back to get and I can implement it now. You know how I implement it now in my life. I could do that too. You know what I mean? So I don't need nobody to explain it to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what it is. I understand. I get it. A lot of people ask, what can knowing our past, knowing our history, how can that help us now? I don't think it's so much about knowing the history. I just think it's more about learning the mindset of our people back then. You know what I mean? Because we talk about how black families were more, you know what I mean? They was more structured. They was more about black family. You know what I mean? That mindset. We could take that and figure out how to get back to that. There's different stuff we can figure out how to get back to. You know what I mean? When I talk about meditation and how traditionally we learn meditation was for fixing yourself, you know what I mean? The different things about you that's fucked up, fixing different personality traits, healing different triggers, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just about finding peace, you know what I'm saying? So it's different stuff that we can go back and take and implement it now, you know what I mean? But I don't think it's so much the history of what we did.
So what I was thinking was, when I looked at what he said Sankofa is, It's just a fancy way of saying learn from your history.
Right. But the thing is, and the thing, like that's what I was talking about. It's about what you learning from the history. I don't think it's so much about the history. Like Martin Luther King said this in the speech.
Right.
But
That's what I'm
more,
saying.
but more of how did Malcolm X think or Martin Luther King think? You know what I mean? And why did they do that? So maybe I could do that now and build myself. You know what I'm saying?
Or why was there a need for Martin Luther King?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying?
Learning that. You know what I mean? So it's different stuff that we can go back and pull out. You know what I mean? And still use.
A lot of this shit is, to me, is common sense. Like, okay, so I don't know fancy words to describe it.
Right.
I know what it is. Like, and I am a history buff. I can go toe to toe with any historian.
Right.
So a person can say, okay, if you don't even know. I'm just saying I don't dwell on it. I took those lessons that I needed to take from it. Mm-hmm. I apply them where they are relevant today in my life, where I can, and say, oh, no, we're not going to do that. That's what was done then, and that didn't work. So if that is Sankofa, or if that is, Shangri-La, or
it's like
this, or
like, say for instance, 20 years from now, or even right now, you know what I mean? People can go back and look at what Dr. Sebi taught. You know what I'm saying? You can get this information, what he taught, and then you can use it in your life at whatever place you in. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it ain't just about knowing history, but it's about more of an understanding, like the lessons in the history and what the whys, like you said, why did we need that? You know what I'm saying? Why do we need a Martin Luther King? So it's more to it than just learning the history.
Right. I'm listen. Some shit you ain't gotta, like, you can just say it for what it is. Like, I feel like people attach extra shit to make themselves sound important. Like they'll talk to give you all this kind of extra shit. Like, that's just ketchup and mustard. I just was gonna get the hot dog. Like, right. No Diddy. That's a bad example, right? Yeah. But I eat Chicago dog, so they put a whole bunch of shit on it, extra shit. So whatever. Look here, man, we got to get up out of here. It's after 10. This shit goes so fast. Share the show. Appreciate everybody who rocks with us. I see a lot of people that check us out. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of platforms out here you can watch. Shout out to all y'all. I hope you're doing it for the right reason. And I wish you much success. But I'm not racist. I'm prejudiced, and I prefer my own. And just like I prefer Outlaw Radio over every other platform. He said I'm a history buff and a hip hop snob, Kev. One and the same. Kamar, anything coming up this week? Because it's
actually tomorrow, me and John Fletcher, we're gonna be with the Chamber of Commerce at the last pitch contest. John Fletcher going for that $10,000. We got the root for him, y'all. We got a root for him.
Yeah, man. Don't be no hater, right? Be a congratulator.
Yeah, let's make two winners out the camp. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got that 3 a couple years ago. Hopefully he could get that 10, 7, or 3. But we shooting for the 10.
You can do it, brother. You can do it.
Do it.
They said Jesse Jackson told them midgets, you can be tall. What comedian said that? I can't remember back in the days. He said Jesse Jackson make you believe anything. He said he told them group of midgets, you could be tall. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here, man. Dion, you ain't traveling this week. You grounded because Trump coming in. I know you got your green book, or what you doing?
No, I'm going to Chicago.
Oh, that ain't really traveling.
I'm probably going. Yeah, I'm probably. No, I ain't doing no traveling. No, I ain't doing. I don't know, but you never know. I might. It depends. You know what I'm saying? I might go to Memphis or something for maybe around New Year's. It all depends. You know. Okay. I'm thinking about it though. You know, I need me some M-Town. You know, go down to M-Town, represent M-Town, Murder Mill. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you. My babies will be here. My babies will be here this week. It's the start of Christmas break. I'm about to have my children's here. Shout out to my brother who just had his 3rd grandchild. He has all boys. My niece just had a baby. And so my brother's feeling himself. I said, "You ain't no king. You think because you got all these male heirs, you ain't no king." Me and him had a great laugh there behind the shit. But shout out to him, man. Shout out to my family, the Cole family, my wife, still just getting back to normal. After losing our mother, my mother-in-law and her mother. So just everybody, man, the holiday season is coming up, whether you believe in Christmas or not. Find a reason to get with people, man, that you care about, and just try to love on them and have them love on you. I know Kamar used to say that about everything, especially loving on himself. We used to joke about it, like Kamar always loving on himself. Like it used to be hilarious. In the meantime and in between time, man, just research. Like, just don't take one thing and run with it. Know who you should know about who you should know about who you should know. Right? Don't just ask who, ask why. And once you ask why, ask when. Once you ask when, ask where. And then ask
you
how.
ain't on next Monday, is you?
I may be on Monday, depending on what I'm doing with my family, but there's a possibility that we won't be on at all next week because Christmas is Wednesday, right?
And New Year's coming up, so it's gonna be about 2 weeks. You gonna miss?
No, we'll be back on before that. I don't take no. It's just Christmas. My kids no longer live here, so I'm gonna have my whole family here. I'm about to man up and enjoy my family, man. So I don't care about nothing. I don't care about no. I took off from my job. I don't care about no podcast. I don't care about nothing. Just gonna be with my babies, man, and enjoy my family, man. So y'all be straight, man, and just always remember, man. We all talk a good game because everybody got something to say now. Everybody got a podcast. Everybody got a platform. And I don't know if everybody's on the level of talking about things that actually matter because some people don't want to hear things that matter. They just want to be entertained. And that's fine, too. There's a time and a place for everything. But understand, if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to it, then you just a coon with a microphone. I'll see y'all Monday, or maybe not. Maybe a week from Monday. Either way, man, peace and love. Y'all be cool.
Love, bro. Peace.